The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of the management and staff of Guardian Radio.
Good morning. The National Security Minister downplaying voter register concerns. The FNM firing back on that no-bid contract. FNM Chairman Dwight says an explanation on the AC contract raises troubling questions. And it's International Day of Persons with Disability. We are talking about disability, people with disability in the Bahamas, the struggles, and the way forward today. That's all straight ahead. I'm Dwight Strachan, and this is Morning Blend.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. Don't you know that it's the start of the end of the old way. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Good morning again, Bahamas. It is Wednesday, December 3rd, 2025. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Again, I'm Dwight Strachan. In a moment, Laverne Gardner will be here. Also, this morning, we'll get into the government's response to concerns about the smuggling of migrants bill ahead of the debate on that bill in the House. That's all ahead, but first, it's time for the overnight. The latest breaking news from while we're sleeping and the top national and international headlines this morning. In the overnight, while questions have been raised over the accuracy of the voter register in the aftermath of the Golden Isles by-election, National Security Minister Wayne Munro downplaying concerns that more than 2,000 voters could not be found as parties canvassed the constituency. Munro saying it is possible that many voters were simply not at home at the time. Munro saying, quote, finding persons requires you to go look for them when they are home. If they still live there but simply did not answer the door or weren't home when canvassers came, or for some reason didn't identify themselves to canvassers, they're still rightly on the register. According to Parliamentary Commissioner Harrison Thompson, 7,926 people are on the voters' register for Golden Isles. He said the final results showed that 3,884 people voted in the November 24th by-election. The numbers indicated a low voter turnout, but former Prime Minister Hewart Ingram has suggested the turnout was not low, but that people moved out of the constituency and the register does not reflect it. Deputy Prime Minister Chester Cooper, as well as Attorney General Ryan Pinder, have also said the parties were not able to find some voters in Golden Isles. They believe the issue is at the heart of the discrepancy in voters who have moved to other constituencies in recent years, but have not registered in the new constituency. FNM Chairman Dr. Dwight says that the government's explanation as to why it issued a $1.56 million no-bid contract because the work was urgent is unsatisfactory and raises troubling questions. He said, quote, "Instead of clarity, the public has been given a justification that defies logic, contradicts basic procurement standards, and deepens concerns about how and why this contract was awarded." The contract to repair the air conditioning unit at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and carried out mold remediation was awarded on August 21st to Noontide Management Group Limited. Chairman of the Public Procurement Board, Jerome Gomez, told the National Guardian that the Ministry of Foreign Affairs identified Noontide for the work. He said the scope of the work was valued at the value submitted by Noontide Management, and said that the Public Procurement Board engaged a third party to confirm the bid was reasonable, though he did not indicate who the third party was. A 48-year-old man sentenced to 4 years in prison for the indecent assault of his 12-year-old daughter. The father, who has not been named to protect the identity of his daughter, who is now 25, his conviction stems from an incident that took place during the summer of 2012 in New Providence. The victim testified that she was visiting her father, who still lived with his parents. She recalled that she was asleep in her father's room when she awoke to him putting her hand on his penis. She also alleged that the father made her undress while he watched pornographic videos and masturbated until he climaxed. Chief Counsel Tashura Ambrose asked Justice Dale Fitzpatrick to impose a sentence in the range of 6 to 8 years in prison due to the breach of trust. Ambrose said the victim was only 12 when she was violated, and he had shown no remorse for his actions. She said his daughter is still traumatized by the incident and has nightmares as a result. But on the other hand, public defender Dorsey McPhee suggested a sentence of 3 years of probation, as he contended there was no evidence of the crime. Ambrose countered that the jury had unanimously accepted the evidence of the virtual complainant. The judge agreed that the custodial sentence was warranted, but said he did not deserve the maximum of 8 years. Fitzpatrick considered that the convict was a caregiver for his elderly mother who has Alzheimer's, and the positive remarks in his probation report in arriving at the sentence. A Haitian man has been accused of trying to get immigration status through marriage fraud. 25-year-old Erno Saintville of Chippingham faced charges of committing a fraudulent marriage, making a false declaration, fraud by false pretenses, possession of false documents, and uttering false documents at his arraignment before Magistrate Kendra Kelly Burrows on Tuesday. He pleaded not guilty to the charges with assistance of Creole interpreter Carlison Gibbs. Prosecutors allege that Saintville entered into the sham marriage on May 8, 2019 to get a spousal permit. He allegedly received a marriage certificate by false pretenses and presented the certificate to the Immigration Department to get a spousal permit. Saintville's wife reported the matter to the police in February after she learned she was married when she went to the Registrar General's department to record the birth of her newborn. Saintville's bail was set at $6,000, and he will be fitted with an ankle bracelet. He's required to report to the Nassau Street Police Station before 6 p.m. on Fridays. His trial has been set for April 8th. And a Supreme Court judge hearing sentencing submissions for a former police constable convicted of planning the murder of an alleged romantic rival. Darren Davis was fired from the police force on June 23, 2025, shortly after he was convicted of conspiring to murder Jason Whitfield. Prosecutors allege that Davis and Whitfield were seeing the same woman, Tia Hall. They allege that Davis stalked Whitfield on social media and used his contacts at BPL and the Parliamentary Registration Department to get information about Whitfield's address. Davis was also alleged to have told Hall that he would kill Whitfield. Prosecutors allege that the plan to kill Whitfield was carried out on December 3, 2022, when Whitfield was fatally shot in Garden Hills near his home. After the murder, Davis allegedly received a phone call from his cousin, and a short time later, Davis's phone pinged near Garden Hills. Davis was tried alongside his cousin, who was acquitted. Assistant Director of Public Prosecutions Terry Archer asking Justice Renee McKay to impose a sentence of 40 years, while defense lawyer David Cash suggested a sentence of 30 years. McKay will hand down her sentencing decision on January 16th. And a sewage leak on Dowswell Street, which was leaking for several days, was finally cleaned up yesterday, according to A property manager in the area, Cristobal Gomez reported a cesspit leakage to the Water and Sewage Corporation on Friday. He said the leak, which pooled near the roadside, continued up to noon yesterday. In a statement yesterday, WSC said an electrical fault caused a sewer backup, resulting in the overflow. The corporation says there was no ongoing risk to the public, and operations at Malcolm Park Station have been restored. Overseas, from the U.S., federal authorities are preparing a targeted immigration enforcement operation in Minnesota that would primarily focus on Somali immigrants living unlawfully in the U.S. That's according to a person familiar with the planning, speaking to the Associated Press. The move comes as President Donald Trump again Tuesday escalated rhetoric about Minnesota's sizable Somali community, saying he did not want immigrants from the East African country in the U.S. because, quote, they contribute nothing. The enforcement operation could begin in the coming days and is expected to focus on the Minnesota-St. Paul area, the Minneapolis-St. Paul area, rather, and people with final orders of deportation. Teams of immigration agents would spread across the Twin Cities in what the source is describing as a directed high-priority sweep, though the plans remain subject to change. The prospect of a crackdown is likely to deepen tensions in Minnesota, home to the U.S.'s largest Somali community. They've been coming since the 1990s, fleeing their country's long civil war and drawn by Minnesota's generous social programs. An estimated 260,000 people of Somalian descent were living in the U.S. in 2024, according to the Census Bureau's annual American Community Survey. The largest population is in the Minneapolis area, home to about 84,000 residents, most of whom are American citizens. Trump has become increasingly focused on Somalians living in the U.S., saying they, quote, have caused a lot of trouble. Community leaders say Trump has inflamed tensions and revived fears of profiling. Trump said, quote, I don't want them in our country. Their country is no good for a reason. Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey pushing back against Trump's depiction of Somalis, saying it violates the moral fabric of what the U.S. stands by. Meanwhile, the Trump administration is pausing all immigration applications, such as requests for green cards from people from 19 countries banned from travel earlier this year, as part of sweeping immigration changes in the wake of the shooting of 2 National Guard troops. The changes were outlined in a policy memo posted Tuesday on the website of U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services. The agency tasks with processing and approving all requests from immigration benefits or for immigration benefits. The pause puts a hold on a wide range of immigration-related decisions, such as green card applications or naturalizations for immigrants from those 19 countries. The ban applies to citizens of Afghanistan, Myanmar, Chad, the Republic of Congo, Equatorial Guinea, Eritrea, Haiti, Iran, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, and Yemen, while the restricted access applies to people from Burundi, Cuba, Laos, Sierra Leone, Togo, Turkmenistan, and Venezuela. And Haiti's Transitional Presidential Council has backed an electoral law in the latest step towards holding a general election for the first time in nearly a decade. The approval late Monday means that the government can finally publish an official and long-awaited electoral calendar after fears that the council would try to push back the tentative dates to stay in power longer. Council President Laurent Saint-Cyr calling the move a major decision for Haiti. The adoption of the electoral law coming as some council members have pushed for the ouster of Prime Minister Alex Didier Fils-Aimé, including Fritz M. Alphonse Jean, who was recently sanctioned by the U.S. Some believe that the U.S. visa restrictions, like the one imposed on Jean, are being used as a threat to try and influence Haiti's politics. Former Honduras President Juan Orlando Hernandez sentenced last year to 45 years in prison for his role in a drug trafficking operation that moved hundreds of tons of cocaine to the United States, released from prison following a pardon by U.S. President Donald Trump. Hernandez was released Monday from U.S. Penitentiary Hazleton in West Virginia, according to a spokesperson for the Federal Bureau of Prisons speaking to the Associated Press. The Bureau's online inmate records also reflected his release. That release of Hernandez, a former U.S. ally whose conviction prosecutors said exposed the depth of cartel influence in Honduras, comes just days after the country's presidential election. Trump defended the decision aboard Air Force One Sunday, saying Hondurans believed Hernandez had been set up, even as prosecutors urged and argued that he protected drug traffickers who moved hundreds of tons of cocaine through the country. Pardon also coming against a backdrop of Trump's aggressive counter-narcotics push that has triggered intense controversy across Latin America. In recent months, U.S. forces have repeatedly struck vessels saying they were ferrying drugs north. A series of lethal maritime attacks that the administration argues are lawful acts of war against drug cartels. In sports, the Bahamas senior men's national baseball team hopes to have a successful campaign at the 7th Caribbean Baseball Cup, slated to start today and run until December 8th right here in Nassau at the Andre Rogers National Baseball Stadium. The Bahamas Baseball Association announcing the team to represent the host country this past Sunday. All the names are in today's Guardian Sports section. The athletic journey of Bahamian national record holder in the women's discus, Serena Brown, one marked by early success, injuries, setbacks, and now a long-anticipated comeback for the 2025-2026 athletic season. The 27-year-old Brown has experienced both the highs and lows of track and field. Read more about her journey in a special report in today's Guardian Sports section. And the Bahamas Youth Flag Football League culminating its 10th season this Saturday, ending with championship games in all the age divisions on the flag football field adjacent to the entrance of the original Thomas A. Robinson Track and Field Stadium. Action gets underway at 11:30 a.m. During the milestone event celebrating a decade of youth flag football in the country, the league will pay homage to one of the youth coaches who passed away, Dominic Hollywood Kiki Varakis. From the NBA, Chris Paul says the Los Angeles Clippers are sending him home from their road trip, putting a shocking twist on what's expected to be the veteran point guard's final NBA season. Paul posted on social media at around 3 a.m. this morning, quote, "Just found out I'm being sent home." He added a peace emoji. The struggling Clippers are in Atlanta for a road game against the Hawks tonight. Los Angeles lost at Miami on Monday night to fall to 5-16 in a wildly disappointing start to the season. The 40-year-old Paul is playing his 21st NBA season, and he strongly hinted that last month that this will be his last. The 12-time All-Star and 2-time Olympic gold medalist has earned 4 All-NBA first-team selections, and he ranked second in NBA history with 12,552 assists. He was the first player to score at least 20,000 points while recording at least 10,000 assists. And more from the NBA, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander scoring 38 points as the defending champions Oklahoma City Thunder hold off the Golden State Warriors 124-112. And the Boston Celtics holding off the New York Knicks to win 123-117 in a rematch of the East semifinal. That's sports, and that's the overnight. Time for your first look at weather. This first look at weather brought to you by Star General. We've got troughing associated with an approaching cold front near the northern Bahamas, along with a surface trough coupled with low-level moisture just east of the southern islands. That's going to generate some shower activity across portions of the country today. There is a marginal to moderate risk of patches of fog in some forested and marshy coastal areas in some parts of the country, so motorists should be cautious when driving through these areas. And there's a moderate risk of rip currents along all Atlantic coastal beaches. Beachgoers and swimmers are advised to exercise caution. Your forecast today for the northern half of the country, a mix of sun and clouds today, becoming mostly fair tonight. About a 10 to 20% chance of showers near the frontal boundary as it moves through. Winds northwest to north at 10 to 15 knots, falling light and variable at times for the extreme northern islands. But southwest to west at 10 to 15 knots, shifting to northwest to north by tonight for the rest of the northwest Bahamas. For the central and southeast Bahamas today, partly sunny to sunny, becoming fair tonight. A 10% chance of showers for the central islands, 20% chance for the southeastern islands. Winds light and variable at times for the central islands and northeasterly at 10 to 15 knots, increasing to 15 knots with higher gusts by tonight for the southeastern Bahamas. Temperatures today around 85, 86 Fahrenheit for highs. That's about 29 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down to around 73, 74 Fahrenheit, 24 Celsius. That's your first look at weather this morning. We'll have your extended outlook coming up in just a bit. This weather check brought to you by Star General. Insurance made simple.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up.
It is time for a break, but when we come back, we're discussing the day's top stories right here on Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9, your home for fresh news and smart talk all day.
The end of the old way. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
This year, don't be caught singing the Christmas blues. Start saving now with your own B.O.B. Christmas Club account. Sign up before June 30th with just $20. Earn high interest and have guaranteed spending money in time for Christmas. Don't be left in a bind this year. Let B.O.B. Christmas Club account work for you. Sign up today at your nearest B.O.B. branch. B.O.B., your bank of solutions.
Screws and Fasteners World, Balfour Avenue and Palm Beach Street, has those hard-to-find fasteners for you right now. You can find stainless steel regular hex, carriage bolts, galvanized bolts, threaded rods, nails, self-tap screws, sex bolts, anchor bolts, turnbuckles, masonry tools, hand tools, and weed whacker strings. Check out the rope selection and car body fasteners, too. Special orders are welcome. It's your #1 fastener store. Screws and Fasteners World, Balfour Avenue and Palm Beach Streets. Call 326-1976.
At Cleveland Clinic, you set your course, not cancer. So when your journey takes an unexpected turn, you seek out the experts who've conquered it before, and you forge new paths to help fight cancers. For every route to a cure, for every care in the world. See how we're innovating cancer care at Cleveland Clinic today.
At CFAL, we understand that a secure future is the greatest gift you can give your employees. That's why our tailor-made group pension solutions are designed to fit the needs of both large and small companies. With CFAL, you can provide the retirement you and your employees deserve, ensuring peace of mind and financial stability for years to come. Join the many businesses that have already entrusted CFAL to create the right pension plan for their employees, and let us help you build a brighter future for your team. Visit us at cfal.com to get started on building wealth. so you can live well. CFAL, growing wealth for future generations.
Looking to elevate your gadget game or a tech trouble simply slowing you down? Escape to a world of innovation at Custom Computers, your go-to store for the latest cutting-edge tech. Whether you need to upgrade your life with the best from Apple and Windows or your device needs a little TLC, the Custom Computers Know-How Store is the destination for unbeatable expertise and quality repairs. With 2 convenient locations, there's a Custom Computers near you on Patton Street in Palmdale and Caves Village, or call 396-1100. The wait is over. The all-electric Geely Radara pickup is back at Easy Car Sales. Choose from 5 all-new 2026 models, complete with dual cab comfort, impressive cargo space, great towing ability, and tech features straight from the future. The perfect pickup for both work and play is 100% electric elegance, complete with factory warranty. Arrange a test drive before December 8th for a chance to win an Everything Christmas box. Visit easy242.com or call 461-0100 to get started.
Mom, the Christmas cookies are ready. We leave them right here under the tree for...
For Santa or for CIBC Caribbean?
'Tis the season for dreams to come true. Whether it's a house, land, vehicle, or upgrading your home, CIBC Caribbean can support your dreams with the financing you need. Enjoy incredible cashback deals with mortgages and land loans. Plus, your approved loan gives you a chance to win up to US $5,000. Apply now at www.cibccaribbean.com/sweeten the season. Terms and conditions apply.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. Don't you know that it's the start of the end of the old way. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
We are back with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. We're streaming live on GuardianTalkRadio.com and on the Guardian Radio app for smart devices. Also on your televisions on Cable Bahamas Channel 969 and BTC Flow Channel 612. You can tweet us at Morning Blend 969 or Facebook.com/MorningBlend969. Text us 422-4796. Standard text rate supply. Once again, I'm Dwight Strachan. Joining me on a Wednesday this week, we've got Laverne Gardner. Laverne, good morning.
Good morning, Dwight, and good morning to our listeners.
Great to have you with us today.
It's good to be here.
Chester Robards is going to be with us tomorrow. Okay, so a lot to get to today, a lot happening in the news. Also, today, December 3rd, is International Day of Persons with Disability every year, and we're going to be talking about that. Bahamians, people in the Bahamas with disabilities, the challenges that they face, and some positive stuff if there is. We're going to get into that as well. That's all ahead, but right now let's talk about what's in the news. And in the news, quite a number of stories. We've got National Security Minister Wayne Monroe downplaying the voter register concerns. We'll get to that in a bit. The headline in the National Guardian, F&M fires back on the explanation the government has given for the no-bid contract with the air conditioning system in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, saying that all of the excuses raise troubling questions about the procurement process in the Bahamas. Dad gets 4 years for indecent assault of his daughter when she was just 12. And then this one is also interesting. Haitian man accused of marriage fraud. Let's read this one, Laverne. Artesia Davis writing this story in the National Guardian today. A Haitian man has been accused of trying to get immigration status through marriage fraud. 25-year-old Ernso Saintville of Chippingham faced charges of committing a fraudulent marriage, making a false declaration, fraud by false pretenses, possession of false documents, and uttering false documents at his arraignment before Magistrate Kendra Kelly Burrows in Nassau on Tuesday. He pleaded not guilty to the charges with assistance of Creole interpreter Caluisen Gibbs. So I guess we're assuming he doesn't speak English either. Prosecutors allege that Saintville entered into the sham marriage on May 8th, 2019 to get a spousal permit. Right?
Mm-hmm.
He allegedly received a marriage certificate by false pretenses and presented the certificate to the immigration department to get a spousal permit. Now, here's the part that really has me scratching my head. Saintville's wife, and that's in quotation marks, reported the matter to the police in February after she learned she was married when she went to the Registrar General's department to record the birth of her newborn. Huh?
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh. Okay, Saintville's bail was set at $6,000 cash, and he will be fitted with an ankle bracelet. He's required to report to the Nassau Street Police Station before 6 p.m. on Fridays. His trial has been set for April 8th.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Is that the end of the story?
That's the end of the story.
How can that be the end of the story?
You've got to wait for his trial. You've got to wait for his trial. That's what's been presented so far.
No, but when I say that, I'm asking that because, in addition, I was waiting for you to say, also standing trial or awaiting trial is Jane Doe, John Doe in connection with this case. Did he create this marriage certificate in his home? Because it said that he received it. And if this marriage was registered,
well,
then we have a bigger problem we aren't addressing.
It's possible, but it sounds like a lot of people might have been misled, right? So he presented some false information, and as a result of that was issued these documents. It sounds like that possibly was the way. You might learn more in the trial, but that is interesting. But also the fact that the wife in quotation marks didn't know. I don't understand. How is that possible?
She didn't. Okay, so immediately when you say she did not know, right?
Well, when she learned she was married, when she went to
right, when she learned she was married. Does she know him at all? Or I don't know if you remember, it was several years ago, there was a case similar to this where a lady, and forgive me, I can't remember the exact details. I don't know if she had gone to register a child or she had gone to apply for a marriage certificate and found out again that she was already married or something of the sort. And it was a big deal, went to the news about it, and we didn't hear anything afterward.
That's very interesting.
Yeah. This isn't the first time that we're hearing something like this. If she didn't know she was married, what documentation was he able to provide to get this marriage certificate and then to be able to take this marriage certificate as part of his application for spousal residency, spousal permit to Bahamas immigration?
So I suspect they're not married. They're not married at all.
Clearly.
So she goes and she says, "Hey, what are you talking about? I'm not married." But I would love to know if this baby, who's the father of the baby? Is that not my business? No. Mm-hmm. Is it his child? Is it? No,
That's
she
why
barely knows him.
Does she know him?
Yeah. What? That guy used to work with him for 1 month. I haven't seen him in.
Does she know him? And if she knew him, I don't necessarily know if it would have You know what I mean? I don't. Dwight, something is going on,
A lot.
and
A
it
lot.
needs to be investigated, and not just at the point where this gentleman is the only one facing charges.
Mm-hmm.
We need a full investigation to see if he received assistance from anyone to go about doing this. And all parties involved need to be held accountable.
Wow. Um, this is yeah. How many people around here are married without them knowing they're married? And
This is what
right,
I'm saying. This is
and,
what I'm saying, Dwight.
and possibly
How
committing
many?
bigamy. How many
How
people?
many? Well, they find out when they go now to the registrar's office to get a marriage certificate or whatever the procedure is.
Mhm.
They are now discovering that they are married, and they're like, "I'm not. What? What are you saying?"
And
So if
I don't know
this
how it works.
lady,
You might know better than I do. Does just one person go to get these things, or should not both parties go? Shouldn't that be required that both parties go, and so you can see? Oh yes, you and you. Sure.
it should be a requirement now.
Uh huh. Okay.
Well, my thing is, if she did not have a baby,
She'd have been
she would not
she'd
have
have been
known.
married for decades, happily
She would
married,
not have
happily.
known
When you don't know, I'm sure it makes
until
you even
if she
happier.
did, unless she decided that she was gonna get married, and then
Right.
this happens. There's a that um, I don't think that this is just a one-off incident, and I think that there were people who helped this man to pull off this fraud.
Okay, we've got calls coming in. We're going to hear lots of interesting stories today, I'm sure.
Mhm.
Oh boy. 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. He can't speak English. Well, at least
Okay,
he claimed he
how
couldn't.
he got
He
here?
claimed he couldn't speak English. Claimed
How
he
did he
couldn't speak
get
English
here?
because that might not be true. But anyway, but he had
Dwight, I
the
have a story about that. But
oh
anyway,
gosh. But I don't know. Call us toll free 242-300-5720. Boy, I tell you. Caller, what say you on this? Good morning.
Good morning, Laverne.
good morning.
Good morning, Cousin Dwight.
Hi, how are you doing?
I am wonderful. Listen, I want y'all to be doing just as great as GNN is doing this morning. I don't want you and Laverne, to be coming on that gate slow. Because y'all seem to be slowing down this morning.
This isn't
Let me
in
tell you
our
something.
usual, our orbit of.
Tell me how we're coming
you
out
gotta help
slow.
us know how
I'm
this works.
trying to make
Yeah.
Dwight a believer,
And-
an optimistic person when it comes to all of the criminality and the corruption and everything in this country.
Optimistic in terms of criminality. So you want me to
Huh?
be positive in knowing that everyone's a criminal?
No, yeah, you got to accept certain things,
Okay,
right?
all right.
And not be so pessimistic about a lot of things. Like some of your callers been telling you, man, right? Why you know what I mean? You got.
They're telling me that I'm naive and I don't know how bad things are. So what do you say?
I think you play in that. I think you play that.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But Dwight, let me tell you something. I can take you and Laverne and whoever want today and show you an immigrant office that has an immigrant justice of the peace in it. And when we go there to the top of our phones, the only people that's be there are immigrants with a bunch of papers, a bunch of babies, and a bunch of stuff. And let me tell you another thing. You see that young girl, she get catch with her hand in the cookie jar. Ain't nobody that's get married in this town who don't know what's going on. Whether you married for sale or married for whatever the case may be, she knew. She just get catch, and then you play the card. Oh, it wasn't me. She put in a shaggy. She knew exactly what was going on. Probably get paid off. Wow. There was one of my friends. He died now up here on the Fort Hill. He got married to this immigrant girl, and you should have seen the big row. Him and the fella was supposed to be the immigrant fella, supposed to be the girl boyfriend, had under the lamppost because he didn't finish paying him his $375 for getting married to his girlfriend.
So let me
tell you
ask you something.
something.
When you see all these things, what do you do? Just shake your head and say, "Oh boy."
No,
Or
Dwight.
do you
There is
report it?
there is a. I'm a whistleblower. You know that when it comes to the hospital and all them kind of things, you know, I live different than that. Now, when there was a lady up here. She is basically a slave. She was brought over by her own type of people to work their business establishment. And Dwight, this lady falling down on the job. She 7 days a week, 19 hours a day. They
So this
saving
person's
woman.
been trafficked. That's a major, major crime.
Yes,
This
and
is-
I called the immigration department several times over. I even called Reverend C.B. Moss to assist this lady. And you know what? They tell me, oh, we come and they ain't never come. And Reverend C.B. Moss tell me that she ain't live in his constituency, so he ain't nothing he can do. It's just going on in this town, right? It is going on. And Wayne Monroe, total disappointment. I'm totally disappointed in Wayne Monroe. And he knows better. Thanks for taking Grammy boycott.
Okay, all right. He says he's going to make me more optimistically. What? Yeah, well, I don't think that's going to happen.
I don't.
Wow.
Oh no. All I know, Dwight, is this isn't just. This needs to be investigated further because this isn't just about this gentleman. This speaks to a greater problem that we have, and it speaks to people who are being dishonest and allowing these things to happen because someone is giving them money, as we say, under the table. And that is our issue. We are creating these problems because people can come and people can bribe and people can convince. And then when we do that, then we turn around and we complain and we say, oh, such and such and such and such. And oh, and this is that. And this is the Bahamas. But when these kinds of things happen,
Well, again, as you said, we
isn't
need to
just
find
this
out.
one. I don't feel like this just one.
Yeah,
We as an investigator, it'll be a whole can of worms.
I'm sure. Again, we have to make sure that it isn't easy to defraud the system, right? So
Correct.
you cannot have one person go and get the marriage certificate. You need to have multiple people right? The two people who are involved at every stage, so you can see what's going on here.
That's why
I don't
I'm
know.
saying
I don't know
it-
if that is how it is. I don't know, but something you just have to make sure there are no
I
loopholes,
wish I
no
could
holes.
remember.
Yeah.
I wish I could remember so I could tell you definitively.
This texture says here that lady's story was on the news before, so I think it's maybe the one you were talking about, Laverne.
Right.
'Cause, yeah, I don't think this is the same story. But they say the person
No,
that
but-
woman said that she did not know, and that she didn't know the man at all, and that someone may have stolen her identity. And
Okay.
that was probably the one you heard before.
Yeah, that was the one I was referring to.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So that's why I'm saying this is not the first time. And in this case, if the young lady, here's my thing. If this young lady was involved, as GNN, I'm only saying this based on what he inferred. If she was involved, why then would she? It wouldn't matter if it's showing that she's married, eh? Because she would be involved and she would know what she did. And so it would be like, but for her to raise an alarm, to say, what? Married?
Wow.
Okay. We have a problem.
This texture says here you have to go to the JP, then the Registrar General. Plenty of signatures and stamps are involved. You just can't walk
Okay.
into the JP office and say, I want to get married by myself. Wow. Okay. So
All right. So who all was involved?
Boy.
Who all was involved? How did he get these documents to start with? Who provided him with these documents? How did he get into the country? Let's go back from there. How did he get into the country? How did he get these documents? If he has a lawyer or an interpreter, was he working?
Yeah. Phone lines are all lit up. Let's hear what this person's saying. Good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning to you, Dwight. Good morning to you, Laverne, and to White of the Bahamas, Alan Johnson, critical thinker.
Good
Dwight,
morning.
Don't run me.
Morning.
Don't rush me off because I scare you.
Don't take too long.
I'm not going to take too long. We talk about the passport. We talk about the birth certificates. These are all things, I was brushed off. I'm glad that they all come into light because These have been going on. In fact, 2 years ago, I sat in the Registrar General office and saw the Deputy Registrar General sign 9 birth certificates without looking down and stamped them. And I went to the hospital to find out how many babies was born in the last 10 days, and it didn't match. And it was kind of funny that 9 in one day. You understand? And so, but here's what happens: both person has to be to the Registrar General, must present identification when the passport is when you get them in the marriage certificate. The lady said she went to the registrar office, Registrar General office, or the registrar office to register her newborn baby.
Yes.
And when they said, no, we have to put your husband's name on the birth certificate because you're showing that you're married. And that's when she found out she was married. Because if you married it, the presumption is your husband is the father, not some other guy name you want to put on the certificate or whatever else. But it also requires that when you get married, whether you in that office or not, the person the deputy registrar or whatever, or if you go to a JP, then you need to go to a marriage officer. But in the registrar, they have a person, but it requires you to present identification, and for those identifications to be written down, and for a fee to be paid. And so the problem is there is a paper trail in this, and there's a paper trail in all that we do, but we always hear, and this is not the first, second, third, or fourth time in the matter of years that you've heard this marriage fraud that has happened, nor have you heard other instances where this is happening. And this comes down to the point I make is this: we have dirty data in almost every single silo of our country that we're not seeking to remedy in resolving the issues. So imagine now, Dwight, let me be quick right here. Imagine now that you could go and get a marriage certificate, you could go in the same capacity and get a birth certificate, and then take that birth certificate and some other marriage certificate and be registered to vote, or even go get a passport and all these other different things. That's the problem we have. A dirty database that puts us at a crisis in our country. If you don't know in your country, you don't know who are in your documents, and you can say, the world might think bad of us. Really? The bill you're about to talk about right now is another aspect that's going to allow for more dirty data to be entered into the thing. And maybe I'll call back on that. But again, Dwight, we live in the 21st century. We're still using 19th century concepts, 20th century tools to govern a 21st century country.
Okay.
That's what our problem is.
Thanks a lot, C. Allen. All right, so dirty data is a euphemism for dirty people doing dirty deeds, because that's the only way it's going to get dirty if you... Anyway. Wow. Okay, the text messages are really outrageous. So this has been quite a past few days here on the show. Every horror story that we talk about, everybody comes in with all these stories to say, yeah, this has been going on for decades. What are you talking about? This ain't new. Every single thing. And yet here we are still with not much happening. One person tried here and there, but everybody knows all of these things are happening. How do we feel about that? Oh, well, that's just how it is. Get over it. Don't lose sleep over it. Join the line? Which one? What are we saying here? Let's take some more calls. Caller, you're on the air live. Good morning. Hi, caller, you're on Morning Blend.
Hello.
Hi, good morning. Hi, we can hear you. Oh boy, what happened there? Let's take that other call. Good morning. Caller, you're live on the air.
Hey, good morning, Dwight.
Hi.
And good morning, Laverne.
Good morning.
Yeah, man. Dwight, this, like we've been saying, right? Because you're not familiar with people telling you and talking to you about these things, right? But we know these things been going on for decades, right? But the only thing is that our leaders are not interested in enforcing our laws, right? I don't know if you know about it, right? But just today, right, our leaders are getting ready to pass an asylum bill, right? So if we think we're seeing problems now, we need to find out what's that asylum bill that our leaders are proposing the or the start debate on the day in our house for assembly, what will be allegedly.
We're going to talk about it a bit. Don't go by what people with agendas say.
Yeah, but
right?
I understand. I understand.
And it's a smuggling of migrants bill.
Hello?
Smuggling of migrants bill. Mm-hmm.
Yes, but I understand what you're saying, Dwight. But I really believe we need to start talking about that before they actually pass that, so that the Bahamian people can have something, because once they pass it and we then start to talk about it, it can be too late. And that's what we've been doing too much in this country, man. We're just waiting for our leaders to. We just allow them to do these things, and then we debate on after they then do it, and then they don't never retract nothing what they already then implement, because they know the type of
that isn't
people
true.
we are.
That isn't true. That isn't true. But I understand your fears, but don't go by the hysteria that other people want you to experience. Right? We're going to go through it and talk about it, and it isn't what some others are saying. It isn't quite that. Okay. Let's take these calls quickly. I want to get to these messages, and we need to take a break. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Morning, Dwight.
Hi, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Laverne.
Morning.
Let me see if I could quickly put this in this proper context. So we have no issues with our passports. Everything is working fine and dandy. Everybody who have them is supposed to have them, right?
No one has ever said that.
Okay, good. Okay, we don't have no issues. We don't have no issues with fraud on no large scale that would cause an alarm. We'd be good in that department too, right?
It's probably the fraud capital of the world. Mm-hmm.
We are probably the fraud capital of the world.
Quite possibly.
Okay, and you and I share that sentiment. So we don't have no issues with our voters card. Everything is good and dandy. Everybody who is registered is good to go, right?
No, there's two different things you're talking about. The card or the registry?
According to the Minister of National Security, how we downplay this thing, right?
Well, there's two different things you're talking about. The card, because there's an issue with that cardboard purple card. And then the register, who knows? Right there, it really doesn't have to be as horrible as some people are saying. And there could be some valid explanations, as Wayne Monroe is saying.
We don't know. We haven't tested this thing to find out exactly the actual magnitude of what we're dealing with.
The Parliamentary Registration Department says it has tested. Now, what that means, we don't know.
Right. We are 52 years old. So you're saying to me now, over a 52-year run, nothing has reached the proportion where we should become concerned.
Before the by-election, almost everybody calling this show said they didn't care and that it didn't matter, that the candidates shouldn't even run. People were saying they were not interested at all. That the turnout is low should not be surprising.
Dwight, you see me, I know how to, as an activist, I know exactly what to do to get the authorities to act. Right now, and I'm just going to say this right, because I'm responsible. Right now, we have a president of the United States who is aggressively dealing with immigration. Now, I don't know about these officials here in the U.S. Embassy, but they cannot be duplicitous and befriending countries like the Bahamas who have some serious issues and we're not addressing it. We have to call the U.S. Embassy out to put pressure on the Bahamas to have a clear, concise conversation and take action to deal with this situation. We see the videos coming around here, right? These people, whatever it is, see, right? We all are Africans, okay? When that ship left Africa, there were no Bahamians, Haitians, Jamaicans. We are all Africans. But this particular rock, I just thank God every day that my ancestors was able to land here. Now, I don't know whether the authorities have the same I'm concerned about the Bahamas. But we've got to call the U.S. out. They cannot be befriending countries like the Bahamas, who is slack concerning what we're supposed to do, and they are taking steps to correct their own. They have to take action, and if not, they're going to be seen as some of the biggest hypocrites.
I like that you said that we're all Africans, because most of the countries that Trump is cracking down on with immigration are in Africa or people of African descent. So that's very interesting.
Yeah.
You are right about that.
But Trump also wants you to clear customs and immigration.
Mm-hmm.
That's the problem. seems like we have a problem, but guess what? We're going to call them out, and they're going to get involved, and they're going to correct this problem because the politicians, for whatever reason, the opposition, the government,
Okay.
for whatever reason.
But again, see, Cleveland, we keep doing that, mixing up illegal and legal migration. Thanks a lot for the call, though. But he's banning immigration, all immigration applications from those countries, right? So that's people who are trying to do things the legal way. So that's kind of different. Let's take this final call, and I want to get through some of these messages. Good morning. Call you on the air.
Morning, Dwight. Morning, Laverne.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Cleaver's conversation is a tough act to follow because I also share the sentiments that he's doing, that he has expressed. Up to C. Allen Johnson, and he talked about dirty data. It goes beyond just dirty data because I am now of the opinion it's more dirty people within our agencies doing some foolishness that we need to get this stuff cleaned up in order to put us back on some type of right footing to right size this country. The thing is, you talk about the biometric and the biometric cards. It comes right back down to this. How could you introduce this biometric stuff if the platform for which is corrupt, and I'm going to deliberately use the word corrupt. If the platform is corrupt, how do you expect the biometrics to correct the corrupt practices? It does not work like that. You have to start from the ground, clean the ground first, and then introduce biometrics or these new cards, because I can tell you, we're going to have many persons in this town who ain't supposed to be here, who don't qualify, can't speak English. And when I say can't speak English, I'm not just talking about any one specific country. I'm talking about all the countries that got our documents. But the last thing I know is they should be able to speak English and swear allegiance to, per se, for our documents. If you can't speak English, how in the world you got our documents if you can't swear in English? That is a problem for many Bahamians. And we have to call it for how we see it and how it is. We cannot be afraid. These politicians in our parliament, I cry shame on all of them, because they are not protecting the Bahamas or protecting the Bahamian people. We are allowing people in here. This is why one of the reasons why I understand why Trump is also cracking down. Because if we allow people in this country that we don't have no background, no true background on these people we letting in our borders, they're getting our documents and being allowed to try to fly to the United States. Isn't that a concern of the United States of America? Come on, man. We got to fix here.
Absolutely. All right. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Some messages as we go to break. This person says here, I'm waiting to hear what Fred Mitchell and Wayne Monroe have to say about this matter of fraudulent documents and marriages, because according to them, Bahamian documents are secure. Well, the National Security Minister needs to have a national press conference with the Prime Minister to announce the immediate ceasing of all naturalization processes for Haitian nationals and a moratorium on birthplace citizenship immediately. This is a crisis. Okay. Well, why don't you talk about the new bill the government's trying? Yeah, we're going to get to that in a bit. We're going to get to that in a bit. You crazy texter, you should see how this goes on. You're a Bahamian, man. Stop screwing. Oh, wow. Okay, calm down. Calm down. Just because the lunatic over there keeps screaming that everything's falling doesn't mean that it is. Right? Calm down. Good Lord. Okay. Are you following this asylum? Oh, yeah. Okay, we'll get to that in a bit. Dwight, you know this country is corrupt from top to bottom. Donald Trump soon stopped giving Bahamian visas. They're watching.
Dwight, let me just say, I just want to quickly share an incident. I had this was several months ago. Went to a fast food place, went to the drive-thru, placed the order, paid, received the order. The order was incorrect. Said to the young lady who had given me the order, this isn't correct. And so she was looking at me. I said, and I told them what it's supposed to be. And she kept looking at me and smiling. So I said to my sister who was in the car with me, I said, I don't think she understands me.
Oh, God.
So I said, do you understand? And she kept smiling and saying, okay, okay. But she wasn't like reaching to get the order. And I'm saying to you, it's incorrect. And so, I'm mindful that there are cars behind me. I simply said, "Can you get me someone who speaks English, please?"
wow. hmm
And
She also did not
another
move. Oh,
lady,
she did move for that one.
another
Okay.
lady came, and I said to her, and she apologized, and I said, "Your coworker doesn't speak English," and she just gave me this look and hung down her head. How you employ?
No, I actually think you should call out the place, Laverne, because people around here are playing like, whoa, we're being invaded, but they are contributing to this. They are doing this they
She
are
could not
doing
speak
this to us.
English.
They are
And the girl
hiring
who
all
came,
these
it was-
folks. Every day I
Yes.
pass 1,000,000 trucks with people from every country but the Bahamas on it. And
Yes.
they keep pushing this narrative that Bahamians don't want to work, Bahamians are lazy, this and that. Everywhere you go, everybody is not a Bahamian in every single business you go in, especially if it's a restaurant. And they are the same ones claiming that our country is being stolen from us. So the double talk is going to destroy us indeed. But I think you should tell us where that was. You're not going to do it?
I'm not.
Are you sure you don't want to do it? Because somebody has to investigate this. This is insane. This is insane. I mean, clearly it looks like nobody cares because I'm sure they go to the same places I go to and wonder why. It seems like you really don't understand what I'm saying.
I did make a call. I don't know if it went anywhere because I was just very concerned.
You should go back there today and see if she's there. I'm sure she is. Probably with friends.
But by now she probably could maybe speak 2 words of English. She could not speak English, Dwight. It wasn't an assumption. When you're speaking to someone, you clearly see that they don't understand you.
Wow. Yeah. All right, we got to go to the break. We'll pick this up on the other side, and we will get to the smuggling bill, not asylum bill. We'll get to that in a bit. Stay with us.
The toys that he will leave, Mamacita. Oh, where is Santa Claus? I look for him because it's Christmas Eve. I know that I should be so sleepy, but maybe he's not far away. So out of the window I'm peeping, hoping to see him in his sleigh. I hope he won't forget to crack his castanets and to his reindeer say, "Oh Pancho, oh Vixen, oh Pedro, oh Blitzen, ole, 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 ole."
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, streaming on GuardianTalkRadio.com and the Guardian Radio app, Nassau, Bahamas.
It is time for a look at traffic, brought to you by RBC. With RBC, your ideas happen here. In your real-time traffic, got a number of hot spots to tell you about. Heavy traffic for you, as usual, on Mile Butler Highway from Fire Trail Road straight up to Tawny Williams-Darling Highway if you're heading northbound. And at the termination point with Mile Butler Highway near Carmichael Road, you're going to be seeing some slow-moving traffic on the Carmichael Road side. That's eastbound. Faith Avenue in that area, also seeing heavy northbound traffic at this hour. 6-second roundabout at JFK Drive, the eastbound traffic is very slow moving and backed up almost to the Ministry of Works there. And at Saunders Beach, eastbound on West Bay Street, you're going to be seeing slow moving traffic as you get closer to the roundabout with New Providence Highway. Other hot spots this morning, we've got Blue Hill Road from about Carmichael straight up to Independence Drive. You'll see that slow-moving northbound traffic, but you're also going to have issues southbound near Soldier Road. Carmichael's backed up a bit as well, eastbound. And more issues on Blue Hill from north of St. Vincent to about Carmichael. And we've got east and westbound. Well, eastbound on Soldier Road, heavy traffic to the intersection with East Street. East Street seeing some slow-moving northbound traffic. Robinson Road between Old Trail and Soldier Road, heavy westbound traffic for you this morning. And pockets along Prince Charles Drive, mainly at the major intersections like Beatrice Avenue and pockets along Eastern Road westbound, especially west of Fox Hill. Those are your hotspots right now. We'll have another update for you in the 8 o'clock hour. This traffic alert brought to you by RBC. With RBC, your goals happen here. And time for another check of weather. Brought to you by Easy Car Sales. We've got troughing associated with an approaching cold front near the northern Bahamas, along with a surface trough coupled with low-level moisture just east of the southern islands, generating shallow shower activity across portions of the country. That front's anticipated to stall across the central Bahamas and gradually dissipate through Thursday. High pressure will then rebuild over most of the area for the remainder of the week, maintaining stable and mostly dry conditions. But persistent low-level troughing near the southeast Bahamas will keep the chance of a few spotty showers in place through the end of the work week. There is a moderate risk of rip currents today along all Atlantic coastal beaches, and beachgoers and swimmers are asked to remain alert. A mix of sun and clouds today for the extreme northern islands, but most of the country seeing partly sunny conditions. Becoming fair tonight. High temperatures around 85, 86 Fahrenheit, 29 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down about 73, 74 Fahrenheit, 24 Celsius. In your extended outlook for tomorrow, Thursday, a mix of sun and clouds again. That's going to hold through Friday. By Saturday, variably cloudy for the northern half of the country, partly sunny for the lower half of the country, and some changes by Sunday. We'll tell you more about that in our next weather check. This weather check brought to you by Easy Car Sales. Take a test drive in the Geely Radara all-electric pickup and enter to win an exciting box of everything you need for a great Christmas. Visit Easy Car Sales, the only Radara authorized dealer in the Bahamas.
West Plaza has so many stores, I've been trying to find a sensible way to list them all. There's CBS Bahamas, the Ashai Institute, BENC Snack World, Bamboo Shack Bahamas, there, the Athlete's Foot, and BTC, Games and More, John Bull, Fine Threads, Alive, Bahari, Dairy Queen, 700 Wines and Spirits, Sandy's, Clarkson, Island Luck, Starbucks, and Lowe's Pharmacy, plus Marco's Pizza and Lorraine. Southwest Plaza, what a wide array of stores. Southwest Plaza, stop by today and explore.
Oh Vixen, oh Pedro, oh Blitzen, ole, 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 ole. Santa Claus, mamacita, ¿dónde está Santa Claus? Oh, where is Santa Claus? It's Christmas Eve.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, streaming on GuardianTalkRadio.com and the Guardian Radio app. Nassau, Bahamas.
Boom boom, boom boom, boom boom, boom boom, boom boom, boom boom.
Santa baby, just slip a sable under the tree for me. Been an awful good girl, Santa baby. So hurry down the chimney tonight.
We are back with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan along with Laverne Gardner on this Wednesday morning. Coming up in a bit, we're going to be talking about International Day of Persons with Disability. That is today. And we're going to talk about disability and living with disabilities in the Bahamas and a whole lot more. That's all ahead, but we continue our discussion from before the break, which has led into the usual madness that we get whenever we talk about these things. And we're going to get to the Smuggling of Migrants Bill as well. That's the name of the bill, not what other people are telling you it's called, because clearly many of you have not read it yourselves, but Smuggling of Migrants Bill 2025. So back to that marriage fraud text. Just want to read a few of these messages, Laverne, not many more as we move on. This person says that texter is incorrect. JPs cannot marry anyone. I don't know what's what. Only marriage officers can. So whomever signed the certificate and whomever approved it in the registry are the culprits unless GNN is right, and all parties involved should be prosecuted and that man fingerprinted, photographed, and deported. Well, this text here as well. Dwight, the entire office just took a bet that you and Laverne would blame Bahamians instead of keeping the focus on the immigrants committing these crimes. All of us knew you guys would say Bahamians are to blame as usual.
They're not committing these crimes alone. And we have to stop pretending as if these things are just happening. There are Bahamians who are assisting in committing these types of crimes, whether it's the Bahamian who owns the smuggling boat or it's the boat captain on the boat that's smuggling. It's the Bahamian who was taking a bribe and in exchange providing documents. We are part of the problem.
Yeah.
And so, yes, prosecute the offender. But there are people who have given them assistance. It's the same
All
thing
for
with
money.
This gentleman.
Yeah. Well, I mean, everyone's telling me, right? Oh, everybody's getting bribes and all this stuff. So who are they bribing?
Who are they? And the people who are getting bribed, who are receiving the money, they look like you and I, Dwight.
And speak like you and I do.
Okay, so let's don't pretend as if this is just these people are operating in a silo. When the person goes there or go wherever, I've heard, and say, you go and ask for such and such and give them $500. How do they know to do that? They know to do that because that person has taken money from someone else.
Listen to this message. Take a visit to NIB one day, and you will hear many Bahamians come in and say they are waiting on their non-Bahamian employee to give them the money to pay NIB. Folks who sponsor these non-Bahamians don't pay their NIB. The employees pay their own NIB. The work permit holder pays them and the employer's portion, and the employers say they're waiting on the employee to give them the money, I guess, when compliance goes after them. This is a big racket going on, and it's really, really bad. Well, we're going to have to build many more prisons. I say convert some of the schools. They're not doing much to prisons, and then we might be able to get a handle on them. Wow. This person says here, I know you're acting naive for the radio, Dwight, because I know you know this is happening all the time in the Bahamas. People take all kinds of bribes every day in the government system for things. Most pay monthly for the assistance to get married, and when they don't pay, they are threatened and have to pay more or they're exposed. Tell Laverne they can't investigate because it's a department-wide problem. How do you think, how are you going to investigate the perpetrators? Well, I guess when you're one of them yourself.
When you're the perpetrator, right.
Okay. Wow. All I can say is wow. And someone's texting the name of the restaurant that clearly, I guess they know where it is. And you don't want to say, but is that place owned by non-Bahamians?
No, it's not.
Oh, it's interesting.
It's a fully Bahamian company.
Oh, it's interesting.
Owned company.
Okay. How old was the person who couldn't speak English?
Young.
Maybe your friend's daughter.
Maybe 20.
Wow. Okay. All right. Okay, let's leave that there. Let's get into this. Smuggling of Migrants Bill 2025. We're expecting that this is going to be debated in the House today, or at least the start of that process. The short title. Well, this is what the goal of the bill is, this legislation. A bill for an act to strengthen border security and international cooperation to prevent and combat migrant smuggling, to provide measures for the protection of smuggled migrants, to prescribe penalties for offenses of migrant smuggling, and for matters connected therewith. Right? It's to strengthen border security and international cooperation. Right. Yeah? Somebody's going out there calling it an asylum bill. Why? You got to ask them. But this is the part that has people in a tizzy, because they're told they need to be in a tizzy by people who like to get people in tizzies. Because, anyway, immunity from prosecution of smuggled migrants. Now, that does sound a bit interesting,
the wording,
right? Yeah, that's
you're like, what?
What the hell? Right?
Okay, but let's read on.
Let's read. Without prejudice to the applicability of any other law establishing criminal offense. That's very important.
Without prejudice?
To the applicability of any other law establishing criminal offense. So where you've committed a crime in the law, that will continue.
Yeah, you face those penalties.
A smuggled migrant shall not be liable to criminal prosecution under this act in respect of A, illegal entry into the receiving country or transit country, B, remaining illegally in the receiving country or transit country, or C, possessing a fraudulent travel or identity document, where such act is a direct consequence of the smuggling of the migrant alleged to have been committed or found to have been committed by a court, and the migrant is a victim of that criminal conduct prohibited under this part. Right?
So
it is not
like
giving.
It speaks to trafficking, eh?
Well, and it should be clear on this. But here's what I believe, and we'll get to the government statement, right? We know that we have a massive problem in the court. You don't want to have to charge all the people who are smuggled in the country in court. You find them and deport them. Find them and deport them. If you have to go to court, we're going to have many, many issues. And you have to find you have to house them. You have to do all that stuff. It is not about protecting them and giving them immunity, but it's immunity from prosecution. Right? It's not immunity as in, okay, well, it's fine. You get to stay. You made it this far. Why not? No. And read. Do not have people read for you. Read it yourself. Do not listen. Okay. Read it yourself. Read it yourself. We're going to post this on our page today as well, and then we're going to hear more in the debate. But here's a statement that came out from the government. They issued this pretty swiftly because of what was going around yesterday. So the government said, statement on false claims about the Smuggling of Migrants Bill 2025. That is the name of the bill, Smuggling of Migrants Bill. This is the first time that the government of the Bahamas is putting a clear standalone crime of migrant smuggling into our law. At present, our penal code does not give prosecutors a direct charge for smuggling of migrants. Right? These are the boat captains, the people who are organizing these expeditions. They must piece together charges of the Penal Code and the Customs and Immigration Acts, which leaves much of the behavior and methods used by smugglers outside the reach of the courts. This bill closes that gap and gives prosecutors and enforcement agencies a strong, modern legal tool to fight the smuggling of migrants and with it illegal immigration. Against this background, the government of the Bahamas rejects the false and reckless claims being made by Lincoln Bain about the Smuggling of Migrants Bill 2025. His comments mislead Bahamians about what the bill actually does and creates unnecessary fear about the safety of our borders. The bill leaves the Immigration Act fully in place. Let's read that again. The bill leaves the Immigration Act fully in place. Illegal landing, overstaying, and related breaches of immigration law remain criminal offenses. Immigration officers keep their full authority to detain, process, and remove people who enter or remain in the Bahamas in breach of our laws. The purpose of the bill is to go after the criminal networks that organize and profit from moving people illegally across borders. Under Section 5, a person who commits the offense of smuggling migrants is, on summary conviction, liable to a fine of up to $100,000 or imprisonment up to 7 years or both. On conviction of information, that person is liable to a fine of up to $200,000 or imprisonment up to 10 years, or both. Where the smuggling involves aggravated conduct such as endangering life, violence, exploitation, abuse, or similar acts, Section 5.5 increases the penalties. In such aggravated cases, on summary conviction, the court may impose a fine of up to $250,000 or imprisonment up to 7 years, or both. On conviction of information, the court may impose a fine of up to $300,000 or imprisonment up to 15 years or both. In addition, where the offender owns the aircraft, vessel, or vehicle used in the crime, that asset is liable to seizure and forfeiture, and the court may impose a further fine up to $3,000 for each migrant smuggled. Each migrant smuggled. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
3,000. The clause being circulated by Mr. Bain deals with smuggled migrants as victims and witnesses of this crime. It simply prevents a victim from being charged under the new anti-smuggling law for acts that arise directly from being smuggled, such as illegal entry or possession of a fraudulent document supplied by the smuggler. Immigration authorities remain free to act under the Immigration Act, including detention and removal. There's no wording in the bill that grants permanent residence, citizenship, or any fast track to Bahamian status. It definitely doesn't ever say asylum. The bill requires only basic short-term humanitarian care for people in state custody, such as food, shelter, and urgent medical attention. That standard reflects our Constitution, our Christian faith, and our international obligations. It does not create long-term welfare benefits, and it does not interfere with removal procedures. Irregular migration and border control demand serious, honest leadership. The government of the Bahamas remains firmly committed to strong borders, tough penalties for smugglers, and humane treatment of every person in our custody. Bahamians can be confident that the smuggling of migrants bill strengthens national security and gives our law enforcement officers stronger tools to break the smuggling networks that threaten our country. Okay. Well, now what? Right? That person says it, so it must be true. We don't care what you just read, or we don't care what any of the elected officials say today. They're all lying. That's how it's good, right? That's what we're going to say. They're all lying. They're all up to something. They're all in on this. It's all scam. They're all, yeah. Okay. Let's hear from you. Sensibly, rationally, please. 323-6232. But where do you laugh now? Think it's not going to happen? 325-4316. 325-4259. Call us toll free, 242-300-5720. Where's this one? Somebody texted and said, read the bill, read the asylum bill. Again, you clearly haven't read it. And because don't go by what the government says, you're known for downplaying these critical issues. Like, oh, really? Okay. All right. And they said that, the fifth estate needs to do better. I'm saying, well, first of all, it's the fourth estate. And did you read the bill? Caller, what say you? Good morning. Are you there? No, let's take the other one. Good morning, caller. You're live on the air. Hi, good morning. We can hear you.
Yes.
Hi, good morning. Turn on your radio for us, please.
Yes, Dwight, how you doing? It's Alan Johnson once again.
Hi.
Okay. The issues I have with this bill is the fact that it has not been proper consultation with the wider Bahamian public. I have some issues with the bill. I could give you a few of them because there's quite a number of them. And this is the problem what we do, is the people who govern us always claim to be all-knowing, in spite of, if you speak to the public who's well aware of what it is that needs to be done and can quite instinctively understand law. Let's use an example. The indemnity in this bill, Section 29, right? it gives practical indemnity for government and government officials. And it leaves open a high potential for abuse of power, doing raids in detention, and provides limited personal accountability. This good faith standard in this bill is vague. Okay? And I can go through the fact that even some prevailing law override clauses and other statutes within the bill. There's gaps in the protection of migrants and other things with unintended consequences. It doesn't properly deal with detention of children. That brings about, it comes from what they call a risk from de facto immigration detention. The number one for me, Dwight, is the privacy and the data protection. Now, so Dwight, when we have public dialogue of the rules of governance that affect all of us, we could have proper governance. When you have an educated and informed voting class of people, you get better governance. And this is why we have so many conversations concerning broken systems in this country for the entire time you were on the radio station. You could go back and play some shows from 10 years ago, and then you confuse it with it being today. Because we don't confront the issues facing us or have a broader conversation line by line of what is it we're trying to achieve so we can have participation of the human people.
Great points, and hopefully that'll be raised during the debate. Anything in there leads you to believe that this should be, even as a joke, called, oh boy, is he gone? An asylum bill? Because that's really out of order. But okay, all right. So those are things that can be addressed, right? Those matters he brought up, those are very valid points. Those are rational, valid points. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning. How are you guys?
Doing well. Good morning.
Morning.
You know, when you hear some Bahamians, not all, but you hear some Bahamians speaking up and they don't want anything passed that will enable this migration or illegal migration situation to continue, you know, it's because there is no transparency regarding numbers. For example, I remember the charge d'affaires of the Haitian MC. He had noted that there was a particular number of patients in this country, which is alarming because the number that he quoted was very high. You know, so when you don't have the proper statistics and you have situations like this where people, they don't want to hear nothing but no asylum, no change in nothing, what we need to do after 50-something years, we need to address the issue, acknowledge the issue, and deal with it and speak to the Bahamian people honestly, right? We have an issue in this country with people from Haiti migrating to this country of under 500,000, and they're coming from a country of some 13, 14 million. It's a problem. You know, the jobs are being taken away from the regular Bahamian citizens, and whether Bahamians are lazy or not is not the issue. The issue is that there is an issue that needs to be addressed, right? We also want to be careful that there's not more of a particular nationality than your own people. That's the problem. And that we need to address the Freedom of Information Act and make sure that is working effectively so that people will have the correct information, Dwight.
I hear you. Yeah.
Okay. So, you know, and it's you know, stop making Bahamians and people in the Bahamas feel bad because they feel a particular way that there is a problem surrounding this illegal migration situation. There is an issue. When you have a government that wouldn't even acknowledge that there's a problem at any level, that's not a problem. There is a problem. When you call, for me, right, I'm a professional person. Whenever you call someone to do a service, right, more than 80% of the time, there are people of that nationality coming out, whether they work for Bahamian or not. That's, you know, the majority of the workers are Haitians. It's an issue, and the information surrounding it needs to be cleared up, and the proper statistics, how many, you know, that needs to be addressed. You know?
Yeah.
I don't understand, for me personally, why you cannot issue permanent residency with the right to work for those persons in particular, rather than naturalize and give citizenship. If you have an issue, there is an issue. Every year since I was a child, and I'm over 55, there has been an issue of squatting. There has been an issue of this. You know, that, so there is a problem. Acknowledge it, deal with it, and give people the right statistics, and then they won't be paranoid when you're trying to pass something in Parliament that probably is beneficial,
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Appreciate your comments. It's a lot of different issues. A lot of them, the citizenship thing is a totally different thing from some of the other things you mentioned. There's a the Constitution plays a role in that, definitely, right? And so that's different from some of the other things you talked about. But I get your point. I don't think anyone has not acknowledged that there's a problem. I think the issue is they're saying it's not a crisis, and some of us do believe there's a crisis.
It is a crisis,
but the officials don't like to use that word. But everybody agrees there's a problem. Everybody agrees that. All right, a couple more calls. Caller, good morning. You're on the air. Are you there? Hi, good morning.
Dwight, how you doing, man?
Doing well.
Good morning to, is that Laverne?
Yes, it is.
This is Laverne.
How you doing, man?
Morning.
Okay, speaking from a person of Haitian descent, right? In this country, it's amazing, Dwight. I don't know if you can recall a few weeks ago, the day before the by-election, right? Lincoln Bean came on stage and he said that, I think it was something to do with the passports that Pentad revealed, right? And he came on stage and he said that Pentad is lying, or he said that it was misinformation, right? It's amazing how for years Mr. Bean has been on the back of Haitians in this country, right? And he's using it as fuel because there's a segment in society, and I'll call it as I see it, they're xenophobic towards Haitians, right? It's amazing how last night on a particular talk show, he came out with, again, this false information, right? Made a clarion call for persons to be downtown this morning protesting. It's amazing how he's now back on track now, using Haitians to fuel this xenophobic stance in this country. It's amazing that person's actually following Mr. Bean. Like C. Allen said earlier, right? If there was data, we wouldn't have this issue, You agree with me?
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay? I truly believe that, again, the by-election is now over. He realized that there are persons of Haitian descent who was in that constituency who voted, right? And they voted for Pickstock. Now he's back on the trail again, using Haitians to propel him for more popularity. It is sad that there's a segment in society that still follows Mr. Bean and can't see he's using them. He's using hysteria to promote negativity towards Haitians in this country. That bill is better only for Haitians, You agree with me?
You said it's only for Haitians?
It's not.
It's not only.
No. Yeah.
Okay? Persons are just coming on this talk show, and I can almost guarantee you 90% of them is coming. If they're against the bill, they're coming on this show because they think this bill is only for Haitians.
Yeah,
and that's where
again, the language is problematic, right? As long, if you put immunity in anything, it's going to it's going to rile people up.
He sees that, and he's now fueling it. I'm sad to say there is a segment in society that there's just xenophobic towards Haitians. It's sad to say that, man.
Yeah.
But have a good day, guys.
Thank you very much. The previous caller, the lady who called, said that I guess was she suggesting that we are the ones beating up on the Bahamians? Yeah, is that what? Okay, but as we said,
I don't know if she was suggesting that.
She said, "Don't make Bahamians feel bad." But again, as we said, Obviously, Bahamians are playing a role in this. Obviously, this couldn't have happened without somebody turning a blind eye or actively saying, come on, I need you. Yeah, don't worry about that. We're going to do this. And this legislation is cracking down on the Bahamian boat captains. We hear about that all the time. Here, we hear about it in the U.S., right? They arrested a Bahamian and this with the 15 nationals of other countries. And people are calling in to say, oh, yesterday and the day before, oh, yeah, you can buy your license, this, you can do this. We know that there are Bahamians involved in these smuggling networks. It is not a secret. And as the government is saying, they need to tighten up on cracking down at the source of these challenges.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
So we don't need to be turning a blind eye to that.
Either.
There are plenty of Bahamians benefiting from this. Not beating up on Bahamians, but stop being a criminal. How about that? Stop trying to destroy the country and then blaming other people for destroying the country when you've actively profited from it.
And I think also that, not I think, and I know we're also encouraging Bahamians to read for themselves, ask questions, get a level of understanding so that when you do go into a public forum, you are understanding and speaking based on that, not so much based on what someone may have interpreted for you, and it may not be correct.
A few more calls before we take a break. Good morning, caller. You're on the air. Hi, are you there?
Hello.
Yes, good morning.
Yeah, my point is, Dwight, the Prime Minister, right, they bring in this bill concerning the smuggling. But my thing is, Haitians aren't coming in by boat anymore. They're coming in by plane. Because if you could pay $400 to come over here on a plane versus $4,000, what you'll take?
I mean, I don't know where you're getting your information from. Do you know this for a fact? Yeah? Okay.
Yeah, they're coming by plane. They're not coming by boat. They're all coming by plane. The majority.
All of them. Okay.
The majority. Is
You are
plane.
at the gates. Where you? How do you know this? This is what you've heard from people. People like to say, right? Okay, because you're up on the tower watching. Thank you very much. Okay. Well, if it's such a serious network, you wouldn't know, right? You wouldn't know who's getting it and how, because it's the tentacles run deep, and I'm sure they will muzzle and muffle all. Anyway, we got to stop this. We've got to stop. Come on, folks. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Who left? Okay, back. But I just have to say this, right? Hello,
Laverne. Let the call in, then we will get to you.
Yeah.
Hi, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning, Laverne, and good morning, Dwight. How are you guys doing?
Doing well.
Good morning.
Great. As someone who was born and raised in Abaco, I could almost tell you there are a lot of persons who came to Abaco and they got fraudulent documents. And when you guys say, well, it's said that it's Bahamians, I'll have you know that they are Bahamian of Haitian descent who have these fraudulent documents, who hire other persons of that nationality. And of course, it's the ones who are hiring of Haitian descent. So they are Bahamians, but they're of Haitian descent who got these documents, and they themselves now, they are boat captains, and they infiltrate certain organizations. And now, of course, yes, so they're under the umbrella of Bahamians, but they're of Haitian descent. So, I mean, when you guys say, it's Bahamians, it's deeper.
Yeah,
it goes deeper than you guys may think.
Okay.
And my last point, because when Bahamians call in, I know not you, but people tend to be dismissive of the fares that Bahamians have and say, but the reason why they have these fares is because government is not transparent. And because they live in the inner cities, they from Abaco, and I can tell you there's a whole, and I don't know if you guys have tentacles in Abaco and these other small, these out islands. The mud and pigeon pea is being built or already built in Abaco, and instead of, I mean, not you guys, but instead of people just dismissing it and call it xenophobia, just take a chance to get information from different islands like Abaco. It's almost like little Haiti and Abaco. And there's nothing about behemoths being xenophobic. There's a real fear. And that's all it is. That's what we're trying to say. Before you dismiss us and just take the word of other persons, do your own investigations, and then you will see it's not all paranoia or xenophobia. I'll hang up on
But before you go, so now what? Yes.
What do you mean now? What do you mean?
Okay, we've known that for years. The mud and pigeon pea. People have been talking about this for. But so what now?
I'm saying they've
moved on to other places. Okay.
I'm saying people have been calling. Me for one have called authorities, and you've been certain radio hosts be dismissive and say, oh, whatever, or don't come. It's been happening where the role of Bohemians, when you see something happening, like people say call and report it. What happens when you report it and nothing happened? What if you continue to report it and nothing happened? You write letters. What do you do then? And if you call the radio shows and they dismiss you and say, oh, you're being xenophobic, or they dismiss you, we as Bohemians, we're not aggressive where we're going to burn down anything. We try to go through the legal matter by calling in. Not all Bohemians are corrupt. You guys are Bohemians. I don't think you guys are corrupt. So if you are legal, you're Bohemians doing the right thing, trying to call, write letters, and they're being dismissed, what do you do then? Is what I'm asking you guys.
And when you call the authorities, they are dismissing
what I'm
as
saying
well.
is we do call the authorities. What do you do when you call the authorities? You write, you document, and it's dismissed.
And all of the most you're saying most of the people.
My only point I'm saying to you is, how come all these structures are being allowed to be rebuilt in Abaco and everybody turning up? I don't want you to just take my word for it. Find someone else who you trust in Abaco and ask them what's going on, and ask them if they reported it and see what's happening. It shouldn't be continue to happen, and people turning a blind eye. And when you call, like I'm calling now to try to bring light to it, I'm being dismissed like, oh, I'm saying it's happening. That's all I'm saying. It's nothing to be dismissed like it's a paranoia or xenophobia.
And most of the folks are undocumented migrants. You're saying that?
You know what?
Well, I'm asking. That's a serious question. Most are they undocumented migrants?
I'm saying yes. And even if not, that's not the case. You shouldn't be able just to build indiscriminately, right? Why is that continue to happen if you report it?
Right.
Why is that people still being allowed to build in Abaco when nothing's being done? What about that? Why did the authorities stop in that?
You're asking great questions. Thank you very much. Appreciate the call. This texter says here, if Bahamians were not facilitating and employing the undocumented individuals, they wouldn't be coming here. Those are the facts. What requirements are being put in place for entry into the Bahamas by plane? Letter of invitation, visa, address, proof of funds. The same requirements that Bahamians have to provide for visa or entry into other countries. So,
and I think, Dwight, I need to say this as people are calling and commenting. We're not being dismissive and calling people xenophobic. What we are saying is, in our outcry, because there is an issue, whether government wants to call it a crisis or not call it a crisis, in our outcry, we cannot pretend as if we have not played a role. And that is what we are saying. We're not saying you're paranoid. We're not dismissing your concerns. We are saying that these things are happening. They have been happening, but we have also played a role in it happening. Whether we took the bribe, whether Bahamians called in to report and it wasn't properly investigated, we have played a role. You could, if I say that I am going to do something that is criminal, and Dwight is going to help to facilitate me doing this because I'm going to give Dwight $1,000 or whatever. If Dwight refuses to take that money, then where do I go? If everybody who works along with Dwight refuses to take the money, then I don't have an avenue to commit this act, right?
Yeah.
But if somebody makes a determination that I will look the other way for whatever reason, then we are playing a part. And that is what we've been saying. So please call us, text us. Do not call or text saying that we are dismissing your concerns, because we are not. We're just saying that these people, whomever they may be, are not doing this alone. There are Bahamians, whether they are of Haitian descent or not, they are still Bahamians, because there is no dual citizenship here, as far as I know. So there are Bahamians who are choosing to aid and abet, and they are making the situation worse.
Yeah. All right.
So
So
yes, we have a problem, but we've played a role in it, and we have to acknowledge that.
okay, we've got Director of Communications in the Office of the Prime Minister calling in. Trey Ramming, good morning.
Hey, thanks so much, though. I just wanted to just jump right in and piggyback on what Laverne is saying, that the extent to which there is a problem. And the bill being introduced in Parliament and for the government, acknowledging that there is a problem and implementing very tough penalties and fines on the issue. I think one of the things that we want to make extremely and absolutely clear, so that there's no misinterpretation. This law being introduced to Parliament does not supersede or override any existing immigration laws. Right? I mean, for example, if victims of smuggling is in the Bahamas, they would still be subject to the deportation of the Bahamas laws by the Department of Immigration. I think that we have a responsibility to house them at during their time at the detention center, and to ensure that they are treated fairly, they have food, and tell them they're ported back to their country of origin. And so this whole premise or argument being perpetrated or pushed by others that this is somehow giving persons of any nationality, whether it's Haitian descent, Chinese, or any other country, the right for free passage is absolutely not true. The government want to be extremely clear as to what is going to be the consequences of those who continue to break our laws insofar as smuggling and smuggling victims into the Bahamas. And that's what we are attempting to do today. Yeah. Even if you look at a larger exercise, last week we did one of the largest deportation of Haitian nationals back to Haiti, more than 100 persons who were fined before the courts. In some instances, persons who were unable to pay the fine were sent to prison, and there have been a number of instances, not even on persons who have overstayed their work permits, where the government has placed them before the court. So no one is being dismissive. I think that based on the government's activities this week and prior to, we're acknowledging that there is a problem, and we're trying to make sure that where there are gaps in our legislation and laws, that we strengthen them.
Yeah. Are you concerned, though, that this is like wildfire, the spreading of this misinformation and the calling of this the asylum bill by folks? We've been trying to dig out of this all morning, but it really seems to be deeply entrenched.
I think it was largely predictable. I mean, absolutely understand that the climate, both locally and nationally and then globally, is ripe for this type of misinformation. I think that's why, to your point, that government worked extremely quickly and clearing up that misinformation last night, and really pointing out what is the gap. I do think that in instances like this, where we could do a better job getting the first bite at the apple on the public education, and don't leave it to assumption that people would be able to interpret laws by first glance. Something that we have to obviously look at and discuss internally. But in the absence of that, no, it's not surprise at all that this type of climate is ripe for misinformation. But in the middle of misinformation, I think the government has a responsibility to say to the public that, listen, the long and short of this bill is that we want to be able to prosecute and to go after persons who smuggle people into the Bahamas. Those who find themselves as victims of this crime will not be allowed to stay. They'll be deported. They'll be housed at the detention center. They'll be provided meals whilst they're at the detention center until that they are subject to the deportation of their country of origin. And that's just what the long and short of this is, Dwight.
Yeah. Okay. Any idea? So we had a caller saying that it should be open to more public consultation. What are we expecting to happen today?
So if there are even whilst the bill is on first reading, the government never stopped the exercise of listening to the public on whether there needs to be much more specification in the law, stronger language. If they think that there's vague, for example, even though the law said that it doesn't prejudice, no prejudice to it, whether people want it spelled out more, so there's absolute certainty. So the government, we don't stop listening during this process of passing laws. It's in first reading. There's opportunities to strengthen language if people have any doubts or have any opinion on how the language could be strengthened to move any reason of doubt. So to that caller, the exercise is not complete. It's a continued exercise until its passage, both in the lower and the upper chamber of House of Assembly.
All right. So one final question, Trey Ramming. So I'm sure you heard it. You heard the callers, the texters saying everyone is Haitian, that Bahamians can't find work, and it seems like we have been pushed out of the country. What do you say to that? We've got another text saying the same thing. People are frustrated.
Let's dissect it into two fronts, right? So there are instances where we have had persons approach the Bahamas government over the fact that they cannot find Bahamians who want to do the work, right? Who want to do the work. I use the word want to do the work, right? And they don't want to pay thousands of dollars to bring in a foreign national, house a foreign national to pay for their kids to go to school, whether it's a high skill or low skill job. I mean, if they have the ability to pay a Bahamian, that would be the immediate preference, right? And so there is a challenge for some employers where they just can't find Bahamians to do the job. Now, what the government has done is focus on how do we take away that excuse of closing the skills gap. That's why we've launched Upskill Bahamas. We've had more than 8,000 Bahamians who registered for free training for Upskill Bahamas. We've doubled the investment in BTVI so that people can use the excuse that they can't find solar system technicians, they can't find person to do electrical work. So we've made sure that we expand the accessibility of Bahamians taking on the trade. So the government is trying to remove the excuse by investing and expanding training that people can't find a skilled, qualified Bahamians work. And there are some instances where Bahamians aren't prepared to do the work, and that's like hard landscaping labor. I mean, we've been in conversation with the association, and they just can't find Bahamians who want to do landscaping work. So you have a situation where there has been persons who are of different nationalities who are on work permits, and in instances where they are overstaying their work permit, they are deported to the Bahamas. Now, the second issue, which is Bahamians who work in different industries, whether it's the financial industry and the tourism industry, the government of the Bahamas have started a department a section in the Department of Labor where it's focused on different industries where they're not properly and promoting Bahamians in a timely manner. So there has been incidents where the Prime Minister has directly denied work permit applications for sectors and industries where he thinks Bahamians are capable of doing the work. I know that in one instance, the Prime Minister has canceled a work permit for audio and visual in a major resort. Originally it was being done by foreign nationals. He canceled it because he felt that this is work that Bahamians could do. And so we have a vacant of notice policy where the government of the Bahamas is prioritizing hotels to identify a person to shadow that person, and they must have a clear path to upward mobility. So we acknowledge that there is a lot of persons on work permits in the Bahamas. The way we address that issue is obviously investing in the skills of Bahamians to remove the excuse from employers saying that they aren't any skilled Bahamians. And secondly, we're going to do a much more tentative jobs and policing work permits, since where we are absolutely sure that there are skilled Bahamians to do those works, and we're going to deny business opportunities to foreign nationals if we believe there are Bahamians who are capable of doing the job, or at least if there's Bahamian ownership, that foreign management must have some Bahamian component of it. So that we're going to be, so these things are not fall into the cracks, you should say that, Dwight.
And to our Apico caller who says when they call authorities to report squatters, to report people building without permits, and other immigration violations, there's no response or little movement. What do you say to that?
So I say this, that so one of the things that you would know by now, I think that it was widely covered in both the Guardian radio and in the public, that the government is moving much aggressively with issues of shanty towns, and we've done it both in Nassau and in Abaco, and I think we're currently focusing on expanding to Andros as well. And in many instances, to Laverne's point, we find that Bahamians actually, owners of the land, are found guilty of providing this unsafe inhabitants to these individuals. We have been aggressive in tearing some of the shanty downs, providing notices of that they have to leave. There is widely documented evidence of us doing so. And so the shanty towns has not fallen on deaf, as I can actually confirm that there is an active investigation going on now by the Royal Bahamas Police Force and going after persons who are participating in providing this illegal housing of individuals. In some instances, we find that sometimes persons in these shanty towns not only of Haitian descent, but they are Bahamians as well. The point is that we don't want, whether they are Bahamians, whether they are Haitians or any other nationalities, we do not want irregular communities in the Bahamas. We want people to be subjected to all of the same building codes that other persons are subjected to. And if we find irregular communities in the Bahamas, where we have in the past, we will issue a notice of vacancy, and that they will be demolished. That's just how it is. And if we find that there are workers who have persons on work permits in the Bahamas and not providing them proper housing, we'll deal directly with the employers. Right. And if we find that they're Bahamian using Crown land or any other land to provide irregular communities, that they will be pursued by the law, which they are currently being investigated now. And we invite and we encourage Bahamians, if they have notice or if they have information of persons who are overstaying their work permit in the Bahamas, if they have information of persons who are engaged in utilizing, selling, whether it's Crown land, agricultural land, or any other land for irregular communities, to provide that information to the police, and then so they can act on that information and the Department of Immigration.
All right, so we're running out of time. I really have to let you go, but this part here, clearly we're getting some messages about it. Section 11 of the bill, immunity from prosecution of smuggled migrants. This is the part that I believe Lincoln Bain's having the most issues with. And a lot of people clearly have interpreted this to mean granting immunity, which is not what it's saying.
It's the immunity from the crime of being smuggled.
From being prosecuted.
So that clause there basically saying that those persons are victim of a crime and they were exploited into being smuggled into a country, right? Now, that immunity does not mean that when they get to the Bahamas that they will be allowed to stay. What that immunity would mean is that that person would give evidence against the crime of the person who is smuggling them into the Bahamas, right, and that they would be deported as well. That cannot and should not be interpreted as that immunity means they have a right to stay. That's not
right.
that.
And that will lessen any burdens on our court system instead of having to charge all these people who are smuggled in.
No, I mean, in some instances, you find that there are. I think that what should be the shared concern of Bahamians is that those persons who were smuggled in the Bahamas, they don't stay in the Bahamas, and we send them back to their country of origin. And I think that this law achieves that.
Right.
We will be having a press conference at some point today so that the persons from the AG office and the Minister of National Security could bring broader clarity to those clauses.
Okay. Thank you so much for calling in, Latrey Remming, Director of Communications in the Office of the Prime Minister. Okay, the phone lines are all lit up. We have to take a break for news. Laverne, based on the text messages, I don't think people are changing their views on anything. But hey, wow. Anyway, let's take a break and we'll be back. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Stay with us.
Santa honey, one little thing I really need, the deed to a platinum mine, Santa baby, so hurry down the chimney tonight.
Mom, the Christmas cookies are ready. Leave them right here under the tree for...
For Santa or for CIBC Caribbean?
'Tis the season for dreams to come true. Whether it's a house, land, vehicle, or upgrading your home, CIBC Caribbean can support your dreams with the financing you need. Enjoy incredible cashback deals with mortgages and land loans. Plus, your approved loan gives you a chance to win up to US $5,000. Apply now at www.cibccaribbean.com/sweeten the season. Terms and conditions apply.
No one likes a fender bender.
Oh, man.
From a little scratch to a full mashup, NUA Insurance has got you covered with auto insurance tailored to fit your needs and budget. For affordable rates with free on-site accident assistance, visit us online or in branch and just ask us. NUA Insurance. Ask us because we've got you covered.
Looking for the perfect Sunday outing? The National Art Gallery of the Bahamas is now open and free to all Bahamian citizens and residents. Spend the day admiring the evolution of Bahamian art. Soak in the natural beauty of our art park and take a little piece of culture home with you by browsing our gift shop. Whether you're an art lover or just curious, we've got something here for everyone. Bring your family, your partner, or your friends and let the art inspire you this Sunday and beyond. The National Art Gallery of the Bahamas, our home for Bahamian art.
It's an island love Christmas. Joys in the air. Jackpots are rising. There's luck everywhere. No snow on the ground. Just sunshine and cheer. It's an island love Christmas. Best time of year.
Island Luck wishes you a Merry Christmas and a Lucky New Year.
What's on your wish list this year?
A family staycation.
A shopping spree. Surprise me.
'Tis the season of surprises. You could win a tech bundle, family staycation, US $1,000 cashback, or US $500 Amazon voucher. Simply use your CIBC Caribbean Visa credit card or Visa debit card for a minimum spend of US $100 or more. Learn more at www.cibccaribbean.com. Terms and conditions apply.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, streaming on GuardianTalkRadio.com and the Guardian Radio app, Nassau, Bahamas.
Are you searching for something new? Something exciting? Your dream job in paradise? Well, look no further. Royal Beach Club Paradise Island is hiring. Join a dynamic group of passionate hospitality professionals, craft unforgettable moments, and thrive in a vibrant, welcoming atmosphere. Play your part in shaping the future of our team while growing your own career every day. Bring your energy, your passion, and your creativity to a workplace that's as dynamic and fun as you are. At Royal Beach Club Paradise Island, the opportunities don't just exist. They're limitless. So are you ready to find your perfect fit? Visit Royal Beach Club at paradiseisland.com/career today and step into a world of exciting possibilities.
Looking for insurance that fits your lifestyle and your budget? At Star General Insurance, we've got you covered. Whether it's motor insurance with flexible options for third-party liability and comprehensive coverage, or commercial insurance products that protect your business, we have choices you can afford. Own a home or renting? Our home insurance products have just what you need. And for the adventurers out there, we offer marine insurance too. Visit our website or social media pages for contact information and quotes. Star General, insurance made simple.
Mommy, are you renting to Santa too?
You have Santa. I have CIBC Caribbean.
CIBC has sweetened the season so you can bring your holiday dreams to life and wrap a new home or land with incredible cashback deals. Plus, your approved loan gives you a chance to win up to US $5,000. Apply now at www.cibccaribbean.com/sweeten the season. Terms and conditions apply.
You try to rest, roll with the best. For all your printing needs, there ain't no one better, no. For posters and banners, magazines and flyers. For window decals, greeting cards and newsletters. No job too big and there's no job too small. You name it, we can print it. Just give us a call. Let Print Masters bring your masterpiece to life.
Located in the Nassau Guardian Building, telephone 302-2361.
This New Year's Eve, Bahamar invites you to experience a night where luxury meets pure island energy. A night designed for those who want to welcome 2026 in unforgettable style. On Tuesday, December 31st, the party ignites on the shores of Cable Beach with dazzling entertainment, premium open bars, gourmet food experiences, and a midnight fireworks spectacular lighting up the sky. And headlining the celebration, one of the biggest names in global music, Grammy Award-winning superstar Sean Paul, live at Bahamar, bringing an explosive performance that will carry you into the new year with non-stop vibes. Indulge in the taste of Bahamar Culinary Showcase, dance under the stars, and immerse yourself in the ultimate New Year's experience, all at the Caribbean's leading luxury resort destination. Make this your most iconic New Year's Eve yet. Secure your tickets now at bahamar.com/events. Bahamar, life spectacular.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, streaming on GuardianTalkRadio.com and the Guardian Radio app, Nassau, Bahamas. The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of the management and staff of Guardian Radio.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Good morning and welcome to Morning Blend Business on this Wednesday, December 3rd, 2025. Welcome back to our Morning Blend listeners. Once again, I'm Dwight Strachan along with Laverne Gardner. And today, December 3rd, is International Day of Persons with Disability. And we are talking about that this morning with the chairman of the Disability Awareness Week, Kendrick Roll, and chair of the National Commission for Persons with Disability, Dr. Anthony Hamilton. Gentlemen, great to have you back with us. Good morning. All right, so
good morning.
Yes, International Day of Persons with Disability. Kendrick, we talk about this quite a bit. How important is it to observe a day like this, and especially here in the Bahamas?
Well, you know, the Bahamas are signatories to the Conventional Rights of Persons with Disabilities with the United Nations. And this International Day of Persons with Disabilities was started back in 1991 by the United Nations. And it's this day just where we come to celebrate the achievements, the capabilities, and just the rights as a whole of persons with disabilities as we move towards our 2030 agenda of eliminating all forms of discrimination against that very diverse group. Mm-hmm. And so, you know, it's very important that we recognize this day each year. And of course, what we usually have is Disability Awareness Week, which is held around the International Day of Persons with Disabilities. However, the Prime Minister found it most important that this year we're going to have December recognizes Disability Awareness Month.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right. Dr. Anthony Hamilton, how important is that to have the Prime Minister recognize that and to have a whole month dedicated to this?
It's most important, particularly when we think of the fact that people are the most important assets and investments of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. And when we say people, we're speaking about everybody, and that's giving consideration to inclusiveness of persons with disabilities. Also for their consultation, to ensure that they're actively participating. So with the Prime Minister giving that particular recognition, he's actually undergirding the fact that the persons with disabilities are very important to our society at large, and they do have a place and a voice.
Yeah. So, Kendrick, I ask you this every time I see you. But I'm asking both of you, how are we doing as a country in recognizing that? And are we addressing the challenges that persons with disability experience every day?
We are progressing slowly but surely. So much has happened. This year has been a landmark year. Early in the year, we signed on to the Berlin Jordan Declaration at the World Disability Summit. It was at that time that we recognized that the community of persons with disabilities globally has expanded from 15% to 16%. Wow. And with that increase, those leaders found it most important that we get our countries to sign on to declare that as a signatory to that declaration, that our governments would ensure that 16% of the budget each year goes for capital development, for accessibility and inclusiveness for persons with disabilities. And our government has already demonstrated that by this year, giving the budget to the National Commission for Persons with Disabilities an increase that not only reflects that, but it went beyond that. And so the resources are being provided so that we are able to do the work and to just demonstrate our commitment to our community of persons with disabilities as the other countries have planned to do so globally.
Wow, okay.
Good morning. I
Laverne?
have a question. Hi, good morning. As we're making these strides, and as you said, we're seeing this improvement from a governmental standpoint, national standpoint, signing treaties and coming on board, how has it been in terms of day-to-day, having people understand and accept? I know for me, I don't have a disability, but of course, in my travels, just simple things as assigned parking, and then you have people who just pull into the handicap parking, no thought, and just go about their day. I've even gone to a fast food restaurant, and they've said to me, my order wasn't ready, and she said, well, we'll bring it out to you. Just go and park in the handicap parking. And I was like, what? But I didn't. But so my thought isn't so much on what it is, the government and, other organizations, but how are we getting this message out? And how has it been having just a day-to-day people understand and appreciate that there are certain necessary, needed features that people who have disabilities, with whatever kind of disability, that they need in order to be able to function? How is that message getting across? Do you see a movement, a positive movement in that area?
Let me allow the new chairman to tell me what his experience has been as of late.
Okay.
Dr. Hamilton.
Yes, very, very interesting. Excellent question that she's posing, because the responsibility, particularly as she speaks to this now in terms of making an assessment and from our observations, every citizen of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas has a responsibility in this regard. We referenced earlier that the government made particular strides, but that is a worthy and excellent initiative on their part to do that. But yet again, in terms of the actualization of those funds and the various structures in place, for instance, the very act, the National Commission for Persons with Disabilities has a responsibility as mandated by legislation to carry out particular concerns in connection with the persons with disabilities. And there's some great expectations on their part, equally expectations on the part of the administration that this would be fulfilled. As she posed the question, we've made some good strides, but there's a lot of other strides to be made.
Yeah.
And when we think about this, I'll venture to say, from another hat, as being the president of Civil Society of Bahamas, which is the apex body for the NGOs in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. There's some great strides within the NGO community that augments this. And they too are making their contribution. They've made serious sacrificial contributions in this regard. And so I can say that work has been done, but there's much more. We have, I was in Grand Bahama over the weekend by invitation of persons from the Deaf and Hard of Hearing Committee. And one of the pertinent things that came out of that exchange as she poses this question is the fact that a lot of them are looking for employment. Some of them are employment, but the quality of employment is another thing, because what has happened, some of them are gone in by entry point, and they're stuck there for years.
Right.
And so they're asking the question, and you're bombarded with questions, particularly being in the position as the chairman for the National Commission for Persons with Disabilities. And one of the things is, I think this brings to light great work that's being done in the respective human resources department. That is in the public service as well as in the private sector.
Mm-hmm.
But there's greater work to be done still, because we speak to this in light of even sensitivity training to make the nation at large sensitive to the fact that persons with disabilities exist. Not only do they exist because we know they exist, but helping them to find their true self. And that means giving them an environment and atmosphere that's going to be conducive to encourage their gifts and their talents to be developed and for them to be empowered. Because one of the things about it, life is very progressive. And these individuals, while some of us may look at them with a little stigma and the rest of it, which is not a healthy thing, we need to discourage that. But in a very structured and informed way, the human resources departments and respective government ministries, agencies, and others, along with the private sector, has an awesome responsibility in that regard. So opportunity is a big thing.
Yeah.
Access, when we speak about giving them access, is not simply a physical access, but mental access as well, and otherwise, very comprehensive. We use an acronym in becoming the chairman of the National Commission for Persons with Disabilities. One of the things we put on the table is an acronym of HELP. HEELP. And that HELP is with emphasis. It's very comprehensive. Is holistic in its approach, very practical, and also it's an inclusion, because we're speaking about the health, H representing health, the first E representing the economics, the third one representing education, the L representing labor, and the P representing people. We made a statement up top. People are the most important assets and investments of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. If we believe that, it behooves all of us to make this contribution to the community of persons with disabilities. And in so doing, you're not only dealing with them as individuals, you're dealing with their respective families. Because we know for a fact that there are many families with persons with disabilities that are part of their families that are struggling.
Absolutely.
And why are they struggling? Because a greater awareness need to be had in our community. Days gone by when we would hide persons with disabilities, and we've been encouraging them to get out of that by way of registration with the National Commission for Persons with Disabilities. And by way of that registration process, we're able to gather proper data so that our decisions and policy making will be driven by evidence-based information, which means that we can be more measurable with regard to how we can do assessments, we can evaluate and determine whether we're going ahead or we're going backwards. Right. And so the question posed is a very excellent question to embody this whole spectrum of things that we need to give consideration to.
So Kendrick, do you feel that there are improvements in the attitude and the awareness, and especially, I mean, just from my point of view, with the parking situation, I mean, I feel like that's getting worse. And we do a monthly disability series on the show, and we've got people in wheelchairs saying that, yes, people are trying to be helpful with ramps, but they're building them at the angle that's far too steep, and lots of the sidewalks are too high or too whatever. There's lots of issues. People trying to be helpful, but not quite getting it. So, from your perspective as a person who's visually challenged, what do you say?
Well, first of all, I say thank God for the inspectorate team at the National Commission for Persons with Disabilities Secretariat. They are actively engaged on a regular basis, inspecting buildings, private and public. They are giving the orders on what is needed to ensure that the building is accessible for all disabilities, meaning that not only ramps are in place, but also that there is proper signage for the deaf and audio for the blind and assistance for those who are intellectually challenged. Most persons are compliant for the most part, and then there are others who have their challenge because of their ancient structures. They are unable to really quite make the amendments or the adjustments to their buildings. However, the Act also called for reasonable accommodation. So where there are challenges in those areas of having a challenge with fixing the actual structure, you now have to elevate your customer service product to be able to cater to the community of persons with disabilities. So I guess it's a matter of them being educated, understanding where they are in breach of the law and what they can do to become compliant. It is a work in progress, but it's happening.
Yeah.
As far as attitudes are concerned, well, I love to allude to the fact that the summer camp that I host each year, the Camp Inclusion, we are working more with children. Children seem to be more advocates because they suck up the information and they tend to enforce the information. For example, if you would find children who would have been a part of the summer camp who would know about the parking spaces and they would have been educated and get that full understanding. Whether they riding with their mommy, auntie, uncle, the teacher, they make an attempt to park in that space, and they would come. The parents or the guardian or the teachers would come back and report, say how they would have hell on their hands with their student, So the information is getting out there. It's just that, in my view, adults once they're in their ways, and they become stubborn. Everybody has this attitude that I only could be 5 minutes, but they don't recognize how detrimental that 5 minutes could be to somebody else. And so we doing our part to educate the public on that matter, but until we are given that authority to hit them where it hurts, and that's in the pocket, I don't see us being able to put a dent in that problem. So the minute we are given that authority, that we could strike them for $5,000 for going in that disabled parking, then we can start saying more respect, more compliancy in that area.
Absolutely.
Incidentally, as Kendrick is sharing that, we are actively engaged with the Office of the Attorney General and Ministry of Legal Affairs with regard to amendments to the Act, the current Act, and the regulations. So that process is very much in train.
And what are you looking at? What are you considering?
Well, there are various adjustments for amendments for the Act. And so the Law Reform Commission is already engaged. We're looking forward to a draft coming forward, which should be heading towards Parliament in short order.
Well, okay. All right. That's that's encouraging. Let's take this call really quickly. A whole lot to talk with you about, but caller, good morning. You're live on the air.
Yes, good morning. Nice show. Good morning, Laverne. Good morning to your guests. Good morning. Good morning, Dwight. It's very challenging. I'm visually impaired. I'm carrying my disabled documents around, my badge and stuff. It'd be a challenging, like you said, with the parking. But I know the Bahamians, when they go to the States, they wouldn't dare, park their car. And that's a $5,000 fine, and your car get booted. So it's a serious thing. It's a advantage for the disabled. So they need to look into that matter, because it's just like people just don't care.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Very sad. Thank you very much. All right. I'm curious, Kendrick, you mentioned the budget. Explain to folks what's required. What are some of the provisions? What do you need money for when it comes to dealing with persons with disability?
What don't you need money for? Right? Right now, we have an active day program for adults who would have aged out of school. Right. And, they are... in some cases unemployable, but we don't want them home all day just looking at cartoons on TV. We need to give them some type of life skill, some type of social element, and opportunities to get out and do stuff. That program has expanded from 2 days to now 3 days, and it's oversubscribed.
Oh wow!
But but we don't have the resources in terms of a physical building to be able to accommodate. We don't have a building of our own. And the multi-purpose center was something that was promised some years ago. The idea was lost, and then it was revived a few years ago. And that multi-purpose center, to get that out of the ground is a minimum of $10 million.
Oh, wow.
And so where our budget has been significantly increased, it is nowhere near that to be able to get that multi-purpose center going. And we recognize that once we would have that place for the adults with disabilities to go, to be engaged, to get educated, or to even be able to tap into their creative talent skills. Once we would have a place like that now, it would bring to light more persons with disabilities, which would now increase our registration drive and other things we need, so that we would have that necessary data to be able to put more policies in place, legislation, and to be able to argue even for more funding for what is necessary for our persons with disability to thrive here in our country.
Okay. All right. Let's take another call. Caller, good morning. We're talking with Kendrick Roll and Dr. Anthony Hamilton. It is International Day of Persons with Disability. What say you?
Hello?
Hi, good morning.
Yes, I want to make you come on the show.
Yes, you're live on the air.
Okay, how you doing? How you doing, Dwight?
Doing well.
Good. All right. Yeah, this is a very informative show that you have this morning. I'm in a wheelchair, and what aches me is, I doesn't drive, right? But every time you go to a business establishment, right, there's no the what you call it,
the parking
wheelchair access is parked with no one with a cart.
Yeah. Oh boy.
Right. I was at Kelly's the other day. This gentleman parked his truck. I had to call the police for him. He parked his truck in a disabled parking. And I said, brother, this is a disabled parking. Where's your card? He gave me the finger. He gave me his finger.
Wow.
And, I thought that was so insulting. It makes you feel like the people doesn't respect disabled people in this country. They don't respect them at all. Yeah. And something needs to be done. And like the gentleman said, they need to feel it in their pockets. Right? When you go to the States, if you park in disabled, the police pull up on the side and give you a ticket. And you have to pay it. That's what needs to be done.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Doug.
All right. So we'll get back to the amendments soon. Hopefully it'll happen sooner than later.
Indeed.
All right. So we're getting this text here. This person says here, the disabled persons on Grand Bahama are mostly disregarded as if we don't exist. The healthcare system pushes them aside, and their administration personnel are unknown to the disabled community. How can we get help? Oh boy.
That's very interesting. The big thing about that is one of the things about us, we're lazy with documentation. We've had experiences where individuals would mouth a lot of things. You get into a tizzy and you get your steam off, and then you walk away and forget about it.
Yeah.
But we need to take responsibility. We said at the top of the show that all of us are responsible for this. There are 5 committees in the National Commission for Persons with Disabilities to facilitate access in a special way. I'll name those committees, and what I'd like to encourage that party to do, lodge a complaint, get the complaint documented and into the National Commission for Persons with Disabilities. The first committee would be the Accessibility Subcommittee. And then we have the Complaints and Concerns Subcommittee. We have the Public Education and Awareness Subcommittee, the Education, Training, and Employment Subcommittee, and also the Health Care Subcommittee. And we have chairpersons and committee members functioning from those respective committees. As a matter of fact, in Grand Bahama, I'd venture to say that there's representation from Grand Bahama in the person of Dedrick Nottage, who's at the Beacon School. So I'd encourage all of them to at least reach out to Mr. Nottage at the Beacon School and Ms. Knowles as well. Once you get in contact with Mr. Nottage would certainly have that information transferred to the commission, and action should be taken almost immediately. At least acknowledging and then working through that process as a means of bringing relief.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're going to get into the events for the rest of the week and the month, as you said, Kendrick, in a bit, but the phone lines are all lit up. Caller, you are live on the air. Good morning.
Yes, good morning, Mrs. Swan, and good morning to your guest.
Hi.
Yeah, the last caller prompted me to call, Mr. Swan, because, I thought what he said was a way to solve the problem, and so, the thing is I hate about life, imbeciles, right? The imbecile in the truck in particular who he spoke about, right? He's pathetic. And so what happens is, with the vagaries of life and health, anybody could end up disabled, right?
Sorry, yeah.
To various fables. And so I was really upset, really upset, because I've had 7 surgeries. I've had about broken legs, bones everywhere, and I've never even used a disabled spot. But what I'm saying is, he's not empathetic at all. And so I thought a real implementation would be whereby you think everything cool, and then Kelly show you the footage of you doing it, and they send you a fine, someone to go to court.
Yeah.
That's the only way to get these imbeciles to act to these ordinances. Once they don't affect government, but this is a way for them to collect money, Mr. Strawn. It's really, and they can use that to enable the disabled.
Very true.
This is sickening for me. Even parking on sidewalks, everything goes in this country. Guys riding motor scooters on the sidewalk. We could go on with all kind of talks. This place is diminish.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, but you're right. Something has to be done, and it's always the biggest vehicle. It's always a huge SUV or a truck. I don't understand what that's about. Right?
Well, to that point, sometimes it's not just even, because there's one place in particular in Grand Bahama that I'm thinking of. It's just not even them parking in the handicap. The way that some of them park, that even if someone is in a wheelchair, they are blocking the access for the person to even get onto the ramp.
Yeah. Wow. And one more on this, because we could go on about this all morning, I'm sure. But this person says, I'm annoyed because even if they have spots available, they have the cones there and no one there to remove the cone. Mm-hmm. So that's a challenge as well. So we do need a lot of sensitivity training, it appears. Okay, so Kendrick Roll, tell us about the events that we are seeing, that we're going to see today and maybe for the rest of the week and the month. What anything special happening as a result of International Day of Persons with Disabilities?
Well, we started off on Monday past. We had a specialized church service, and that highlighted persons with disabilities straight throughout the program. It was at First Baptist. Today, which is our Global Day, we expect a statement from our minister to be said in the House of Assembly, recognizing the International Day of Persons with Disabilities. On Friday, there's going to be a dinner and hat show at the Paul Farquharson Center with the Training Center for the Disabled. It's going to be their 9th annual, and that's where you see persons with disabilities and their talents on display once again, along with the other festivities at the show. And if you wanted support, you could contact the Training Center for the Disabled, Ms. Riviana Smith. It's right there on Wolf Road, just opposite, I think it's Taifta, so West Car. But anyway,
yes. Near Lincoln Boulevard.
Near Lincoln Boulevard. You get your tickets right there for ticket. I think she still has a few more tickets for the dinner show on Friday night. On Saturday morning, we're going to host a prayer breakfast with all the leaders of the various disability NGOs and schools, as we want to, give thanks, worship, and see how we could plan for the next year ahead. Mm-hmm. This coming Sunday is going to be Disability Awareness Sunday in all of the churches across the nation. And then next week on the 10th, the Bahamas Association for the Physically Disabled is going to be putting on a Christmas show. Still more plans are in the making because, of course, people are still looking at their holiday. plans, and
Right.
the Prime Minister kind of caught us off guard a little bit this one, but he said take the money, so we will figure out how we can take the money.
That's a good problem to have. All right. So, Dr. Hamilton, if folks are interested in seeing what's been proposed with the changes, or if they have ideas as well, how can they contribute to this?
Yes, certainly. We're going to make sure that further consultation will take place. It's very critical in this space that the persons with disabilities are included in the process, allowing them to be able to voice. And so we have a structured, organized, strategic approach in dealing with this. So the drafting is taking place now, law reform, opportunity to be given to the public at large to participate.
Okay.
Some persons with disabilities have already been given opportunity to make their contributions in advance.
Excellent.
And so we can expand it further to ensure that we have a very comprehensive approach in dealing with this.
Wonderful stuff. All right, let's take one final call, and then we want to find out how people can get in contact with all of you. Caller, good morning. You're live on the air.
Good morning, Dwight, Laverne, and Jeff. How y'all doing?
Doing well.
Awesome. Laverne had mentioned an interaction she had with a store or fast food place the other day, and it brought to mind my interaction with a fast food chain down in the East who hired a number of obviously deaf and mute person. And I thought that was very commendable. And I knew this because when the server was calling out the order, she did sign language, and I asked her if she was mandated to learn. So she said no, but we incorporate this to make them feel a part of the business. And I thought that was excellent.
You
So
should
I'm
call
just
the
wanted
name. That mean we need to know them at
it's
some
the
point.
Wendy's. It's the Wendy's, and they have a high percentage of mute and deaf persons working in the East. I don't know that one particularly, but and they do a great job with this. So I'm just saying that there are a lot being done, and I commend them for it. And I just wondered if there's a protocol. Do you go to business and say, well, this is the protocol. We have deaf and mute people here. This is how they interact, or do you highlight business that try to incorporate them? Because I think it's a commendable job that
Yeah, that's
certain
fantastic.
places are doing.
Thank you for bringing that to our attention. Thank you very much.
That there is simply a case of who feels it knows it.
Okay.
And so when persons have direct interaction, they would find ways to incorporate their people.
Yeah.
I was surprised when he said Wendy's, because we know that Starbucks does an awesome job in employing particularly persons who are deaf and hard of hearing.
Okay.
But very early next year, we're going to engage in a sensitivity training with all the fast food chains, so that we would bring to light not only how they should interact with persons with disabilities, but how important it is to employ them and to show them their capabilities and to give them the opportunity for gainful employment. We have some other private sector persons we're going to involve in that training too, but specifically the fast food chains, we do have them that we're going to engage them very early next year.
That's great. All right, we're running out of time, but let's squeeze this call in if you don't mind. Caller, good morning. You got the final call. Are you there? No, okay. All right, so how do we reach you, Dr. Hamilton, and the National Commission for Persons with Disability?
The number for the National Commission for Persons with Disabilities would be 457-0159. I repeat it, 457-0159. And this is directly to the Executive Secretary. And I'm doing that deliberately because she does an awesome job in being able to receive it and to delegate it in the appropriate spaces as necessary. We reference those 5 committees. So your call lands in one of those committees.
Okay. All right. Wonderful. And Kendrick Roll, if people want to get in contact with you, all the great work that you're doing, how do people reach you?
Well, since moving from the commission now, my term is in, we now have the Disability Empowerment Outreach Group. We're spearheading the Access Ride program. I've spoken about that a number of times. We're still working on that, but you can call 816-2642. That's 816-2642. And that's how you reach Disability Empowerment Outreach. And we'll be able to, accept your volunteerism, donations, anything you can contribute to help us empower the lives of persons with disabilities, not only here in the Providence, but like I said, we do the summer camps Grand Bahama, Abaco, and next year, we're going to expand to North Andros. So, we have to do a lot of things, especially to educate the children who are the future. And we want to create more advocates for the community of persons with disabilities.
Excellent. Keep up the great work that all of you are doing. Thank you so much for being here today. Kendrick Roll, thank you. Dr. Anthony Hamilton. And again, happy International Day of Persons with Disability.
Thank you, sir.
All right. We're going to take a break and be back to wrap things up. This is Morning Blend Business on Guardian Radio 96.9. Stay with us.
Baby, just slip a sable under the tree for me. Been an awful good girl, Santa baby, so hurry down the chimney tonight.
Here's the Sherwin Art Store moment from Shelley and Dee Dee.
We're the only full art store in the Bahamas. If we don't have it, we make a list, and trust me, our boss can get that. If you need that, he can get that. You can find sketchbooks, acrylics, the canvases in all sizes, stencils. We have the Angelus that they use on shoes and letters. We're the only persons in Nassau that carries the antenna spray. We have the Krylon sprays, watercolor in paints, the oil, chalk paints, the alcohol paint, metallic paints, the little Floetrol, and we have cleaning products for the artists, thinning products for the artists, and Crayola colors, and glitters, pencils, the Posca markers, and pastels, oil, and the acrylic pastels, dyes. Oh yeah. We also have airbrush paint. I didn't forget that part of the movie. Gift sets, hobby craft,
Oil shrimp,
clays.
stew shrimp gumbo. But art supplies. We have a lot of them. Sherwin-Williams Art Store. Find colour in every day.
Are you ready to upgrade this Christmas with Wendy's and Coca-Cola? Simply upgrade your premium lunch combo to a large. Fill out your receipt, scan the QR code, and you'll have a chance to win up to $25,000 in cash and prizes. Wendy's is giving away $1,000 cash prizes, an iPhone 17, going places travel vouchers, a staycation at Comfort Suites, and more. So visit your nearest Wendy's and upgrade today.
No one likes a fender bender.
Oh, man.
From a little scratch to a full mashup, NUA Insurance has got you covered with auto insurance tailored to fit your needs and budget. For affordable rates with free on-site accident assistance, visit us online or in branch and just ask us. NUA Insurance. Ask us because we've got you covered.
Tired of banks forcing you to use technology to bank the way they want you to? Your convenience is important. So no matter what your banking needs, Commonwealth Bank's friendly staff are always available in branch for that personal one-on-one service. But when you choose technology, our online and mobile banking app offers you state-of-the-art functionality. The choice is yours. Commonwealth Bank. Bank the way you want.
This New Year's Eve, Bahamar invites you to experience a night where luxury meets pure island energy. A night designed for those who want to welcome 2026 in unforgettable style. On Tuesday, December 31st, the party ignites on the shores of Cable Beach with dazzling entertainment, premium open bars, gourmet food experiences, and a midnight fireworks spectacular lighting up the sky. And headlining the celebration, one of the biggest names in global music, Grammy Award-winning superstar Sean Paul, live at Bahamar, bringing an explosive performance that will carry you into the new year with non-stop vibes. Indulge in the taste of Bahamar Culinary Showcase, dance under the stars, and immerse yourself in the ultimate New Year's experience, all at the Caribbean's leading luxury resort destination. Make this your most iconic New Year's Eve yet. Secure your tickets now at bahamar.com/events. Bahamar, life spectacular.
It is time for your morning business report, brought to you by CFAL. Senator Randy Roll, the chairman of the Consumer Protection Commission, says the commission will be on top of common Christmas season complaints from consumers, such as shipping delays and the non-delivery of goods. Roll, responding to questions from Guardian Business, saying that as the season approaches, the CPC is well prepared to support consumers and ensure that merchants meet their obligations under the law. He said that in previous years, the most common seasonal complaints involve shipping delays and the non-delivery of goods. He says that CPC will be monitoring these areas closely with a focused effort on businesses engaged in shipping, delivery, and online sales. The Bahamas National Statistical Institute, the BNSI, revealing in its Consumer Price Index report for July 2025 that the monthly inflation rate, which measures the overall change in prices for 2025, increased by 0.6% in July compared to June. The report noted that the CPI for July increased 1.3% when compared to July 2024. The BNSI explained that the July increase followed an increase in the inflation rate between May and June. It says that on a month-to-month basis, major increases by groups were recorded in housing, water, electricity, gas, and other fuels, up 2.2%, health up 1.3%, and food non-alcoholic beverages 0.2%. The report says that when compared to July 2024, furnishing, household equipment, and routine household maintenance increased by 10%, health by 4.2%, and housing, water, electricity, gas, and other fuels by 2.7%. In your Market Watch, recapping trading on the BISX from Tuesday, market movers, full call, moving 3,000 shares, closing at 685 unchanged. Bahamas Waste moving 80, closing at 1036 unchanged. Consolidated Water closing at 670, and Emir Incorporated moving 913 shares, closing down 10 cents to 1187. The BISX All Share Index closing at 3,055.55, up 5.46. That's your Market Watch, and that is your morning business report brought to you by CFAL, growing wealth for future generations. Laverne Gardner, really quickly, a couple messages we want to read before we go. This person says here, this is back to our topic about International Day of Persons with Disability. It seems that everything is Nassau-centric, and if Grand Bahama and Freeport's supposed to be the second city with the next largest population center, why can't the organization in New Providence visit Grand Bahama have a symposium of the concerns of the disabled in Grand Bahama? Okay, I'm sure they're listening, and we'll definitely, hopefully, consider that. This person says here, the ill treatment of the disabled is certainly real in this country. Just the other day, my mom, who's visually impaired, called the Office of the Prime Minister to get some information, and the lady she spoke to was very rude. Oh, boy. My mom made her aware that she is impaired. The woman said, quote, "You don't need to tell me that. What you tell me that for?" Oh, gosh. Oh, boy. Wow, how dense are we becoming as a people?
And that is why I ask that while we may be doing these wonderful things nationally from a governmental standpoint, it is what kinds of interactions are they having on a day-to-day basis with the general public?
Yeah. Very disturbing. Really quickly as we go, this is in the other paper, the Tribune, but this is surprising, shocking, disturbing even. Brooklyn Bridge Barge, you all remember that, right? The shopping mall that was stuck on the reef a few weeks back. So the owners of the Brooklyn Bridge Barge, which was looted after running aground off Abaco, will be fined $20,000?
Did they miss out a zero?
I don't know. $20,000 for damaging a coral reef. That's it? That's the less than the contents of one of those trailers. Okay.
Exactly.
Is that all it takes to repair a coral reef these days?
I think no way.
I don't know, but that's very, very unusual. $20,000 for damaging a coral reef. Officials confirmed yesterday after an environmental assessment found extensive harm to the coral reefs. But $20,000? Okay. The barge's grounding became a national flashpoint after dozens of local residents in a fleet of small leisure craft looted containers from the vessel. But $20,000. Dr. Rhianna Neely Murphy, director of the Department of Environmental Planning and Protection, said a team assessed the site last week. She said DEP has notified Trailer Bridge, the company that owns it, of the findings. She said in a meeting is expected with company representatives to determine the next steps, noting that per the law, they are responsible for any restoration and remediation activities. The reef is still functioning, she says, and a lot of it is still intact, but there is a part of it that is damaged. We will do our best to reattach the corals that are able to be reattached and replant corals that cannot be replanted in the same area. Okay.
And how much is that going to cost to do all of that?
I guess $20,000.
$20,000?
I don't know. Whatever. Okay. Well,
okay.
Maybe we need to do some research on how much it costs to repair a reef.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, Laverne Gardner, thank you for being here on a Wednesday. Really appreciate it.
It's a pleasure.
Hopefully you'll enjoy your Thursday. You can sleep in late. I don't know. I know you're going to tell me you don't do that.
I do not.
Right.
But,
oh, boy.
Yeah.
Enjoy it nonetheless. Chester will be here tomorrow, and I'll be back tomorrow morning with more Morning Blend and Morning Blend Business right here on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan, have a great day. Stay tuned for On the Clock with Aaron Green next.
In the world of business, technology is not a choice, it's a necessity. And for businesses that demand excellence, there's only one choice for unparalleled support and cutting-edge technology. Custom Computers. You have challenges and we have solutions. Computing, networking, storage, and printing for enterprises large and small, aligned with premium brands like HP, Microsoft, Konica Minolta, and more. Get tech done the right way with Custom Computers. Call the Know-How team at 396-1101.
Transform your home for less at Kelly's House & Homes Holiday Paint Sale now through Wednesday, December 24th. Enjoy 25% off house and spray paints plus 20% off paint supplies, except on net items. Our wide selection of paint colors is the perfect way to bring holiday cheer to your home. You'll also find the best selection of brushes, rollers, pans, glue, ladders, paint thinner, and more. So catch the holiday spirit and paint up for Christmas at Kelly's House & Homes Holiday Paint Sale, going on now through December 24th.
It's an island love Christmas. Joys in the air, jackpots are rising. There's luck everywhere. No snow on the ground, just sunshine and cheer. It's an island love Christmas, the best time of year.
Island Luck wishes you a Merry Christmas and a lucky New Year.
As an athlete, I've learned that success isn't built on extras. It's built on the essentials. Strength, discipline, smart choices. That's why I'm proud to partner with Bahama Health to introduce Essential 300, a comprehensive health insurance plan that's all about covering what truly matters. Essential 300 is Bahama Health's most affordable major medical plan for groups and individuals. It offers access to a specialized network of care with essential benefits like preventative services, because real strength starts with staying healthy. You may not be training for a race, but everyone deserves strong and affordable coverage with Essential 300. With Bahama Health, you can feel good about your health plan and protect what truly matters, your health.
For more information, call 396-1350 or visit www.bahamahealth.com.
This year, don't be caught singing the Christmas blues. Start saving now with your own B.O.B. Christmas Club account. Sign up before June 30th with just $20. Earn high interest and have guaranteed spending money in time for Christmas. Don't be left in a bind this year. Let B.O.B. Christmas Club account work for you. Sign up today at your nearest B.O.B. branch. B.O.B., your bank of solutions.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Streaming on GuardianTalkRadio.com and the Guardian Radio app, Nassau, Bahamas.